Welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave, impromptu podcast that we have titled What If, where we will be looking into the what ifs of the, A Song of Ice and Fire. As you can tell, this is not prepared at all.
I mean, yeah, we're doing the what ifs of shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
What if the intro had worked out?
What if the intro was actually pretty good? What if people showed up here? Never mind.
What if my dog didn't eat her own turds and then didn't throw them up on the couch?
Oh, that's gross. When did that
Yeah, it
happen?
happened today. It was fun.
What a lovely
Just
day
today.
you've been having, Brett.
That's alright. She licked it right back up.
Oh,
She doesn't mind
Zero.
eating it again.
dogs.
Yeah, I have a cat first.
I
Really?
have cats too. Yeah. Avatar's a cat.
Yeah, I know that as being constant. Never mind.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, I see.
You know, I might just keep this as the intro. Just to show the feeling of the podcast. Joining me on this hypothetical podcast, we have White Raven.
Hi, this is Brett in real life.
Shadowbaby.
Hey, it's Hannah in real life.
Maybe Sir Patrick the Tall, whenever he shows up, and lurking from the shadows, loathing Jon Snow, we have Silence.
Hi, Tanja in real life.
Alright. So, essentially, you just put forth a what if, and we all just kind of brainstorm about it. And then we'll probably just end up just bullshitting our way through the rest of this, but you know what? That's the feeling I'm having tonight. So, Hannah, if you just want to go, and then Patrick can just hop in whenever he gets around to that.
Apparently seconds are different over there.
Well, he spelled
Much
it wrong.
longer.
He spelled sex wrong, so...
Well, maybe he's having sex 2
times.
times.
What?
So it should be about 7 minutes if Patrick is having sex 2 times.
Someone look up what sex is in Danish.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, Hannah, you want to...
Okay, so one of my favorite ones is what if, when Bran got pushed out the window, he died instead of coming out of his coma?
I think it's kind of like the same answer with Jon. We'd have a lot less boring chapters.
But you wouldn't have like Bran going up north of the wall, so
Yeah,
you'd lose like that whole storyline.
yeah, and you'd
I mean,
lose...
clearly-
So one of my things, though, is like, do Jojen and Myrrah still come to
probably-
Winterfell?
To come
Probably-
see Rickon?
Well, they'll probably come to like... Well, first off, you have to ask yourself, does Catelyn stay out with Robb as long as she does if it's just Rickon back at Winterfell? Because...
Stay even longer?
No, it's like... I bet she'd probably...
was always a favorite.
Well, now he's dead. So
he's dead, and then Rickon gets killed, and she's like, "Wow, it's not worth letting Jaime go for that."
That's entirely possible.
yeah.
We don't even care about Rickon. He's the child that time forgot.
But it just kind of makes you wonder, because, like, if Bran dies, like, before any of this happens, like, are you saying he dies immediately, Hannah, or he dies in his coma?
Like impact.
Yeah, let's say, like, either way, same time frame.
So,
He
like,
did.
when he's supposed to wake up in the books, he actually just dies.
Yeah.
And then Blood
'cause,
Raven's
like,
like, "You know
my
how much
thing
fucking time I
is-
just wasted?"
Well, my biggest curiosity with it, and I think the reason why it's fun, is like, how does it change Jojen's green dreams? And how does that redefine Jojen's purpose and his life cycle?
Well, he probably wouldn't have had the green dreams
Yeah.
about Bran if Bran was destined to die. It would have been next man up. They would have been going to the
Right,
wall
so
to go
who
see
is
Jon.
Yeah. Next
The
up,
only one, I guess maybe Arya?
Yeah, maybe Arya. Because she, Robb has a pretty strong connection with Grey Wind.
But we never see the warging actually
Yeah,
happen.
we
Not
don't
to
see
say
him
it doesn't,
warg.
but...
I think the second most powerful would probably be Arya. When it comes to
Or Jon, I
warging.
mean...
Or Jon.
John doesn't.
Valimir says Jon's very powerful. He just
Yeah.
doesn't know how to use it yet.
Or maybe Blood Raven's like, can't use him. He's the prince who was promised. Can't use him. And he's also like, I don't want him moping around my cave. Jesus, let him stay at the wall. This is the...
It's like it's gonna be Patchface.
This is the... Oh my god. This is gonna be the Jon hate episode. Or one of them.
My favorite episode ever.
Don't
I mean-
worry, there's a lot of cat hate coming.
Oh no. Cat hate. And you also gotta ask, like, would Ned continue on down to King's Landing to be Hand, or would he and Sansa and Arya just pack up and go back to Winterfell to be at Bran's funeral, essentially?
I would imagine they'd probably go back. Because I feel like Cat would not take it well.
Yeah, and Ned would be
I don't think she'd take it well either way.
They would totally have to.
Sorry, Robert, but family.
Yeah, so I feel like...
And Robert
would
probably be understanding, too.
Well, he falls, like, before they leave, right?
Yeah, but
so
he's
maybe
still alive.
So if he dies instantly, like, I'm thinking it's just a postponed trip after the funeral.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they stick around a while before they leave, actually, with Bran in a coma.
Well,
because, you know,
stay
Joffrey's like,
extra
we should
days.
put him down.
How long is Bran in that coma? Like a few months?
He's in it for a while.
That's the thing about time in Game of Thrones, because they're like 9 months. They don't go like 9 months later unless it's Winds of Winter. Then it's like 3 years later. But yeah. All right. So verdict.
Where's being a spreadsheet?
Yeah. Verdict is essentially maybe Arya gets the Green Dreams instead. Not the Green Dreams. Well, it's like, oh my god.
The problem is we don't really know where Bran's storyline is going.
Yeah, and we don't really...
So,
yeah.
It's hard to say...
Yeah. Maybe up to this point things wouldn't have been much different.
So. Yeah.
Well, he hasn't had an impact on anybody but himself so far. I mean, he saved Jon, I guess, but...
It's had an impact on, like, the people who were around him, I guess.
Yeah, but it's such a small... Yeah. But it's such a small group, I don't know as if it would matter.
That's who he affects.
Right. The guy that can't talk that works in the stables at Winterfell, that was a big difference.
Yeah. Totally. Alright. Brett, you want to go next?
I mean, if I had one, I came unprepared, sir.
Alright.
You want me to just think of one on the fly?
I mean, I could give one of the ones I have, and then
that's fine.
While I'm doing that, you could think of yours. Mine is a bit weird. What if, instead of marrying Cat, for some reason, Ned ends up wedding Cersei? What happened? Somehow, something happened. I'm pretty sure you'd find some fanfic. I'm pretty sure there's fanfiction of this.
You know what, though? I mean, we all are like, oh, what? But that's not outside the realm of possibility, right? They're roughly same age.
I suppose, like, maybe if, like, Tywin was really desperate to get into the, like, South Thrawn ambitions coalition with...
That would have actually been an okay match.
Because he was trying to get Jaime, like, arranged with Lysa.
Right. Well, and think about, like, how beneficial that alliance between the Westerlands and the North would be against the Ironborn.
Oh, yeah. Because they've had past alliances where they just...
Yeah, that would be, like, huge.
Yeah.
So and the Night's Watch would probably end up benefiting from it, too, like opening up more trade between White Harbor, Lannisport, and then Eastwatch.
For sure.
I could imagine that would have probably worked out quite well, actually, because I think... I mean, Cersei is pretty horrible, but I think one of the main reasons that she is so horrible is that Robert just isn't the best guy to be married to either.
Yeah.
And I think
she pushed her best friend down a well. She's
no,
she'd
horrible. She'd still be awful. She'd still be awful, but not quite as awful as she is.
Yeah, he might have been able to belay some of that.
I don't think so. You send Cersei up to the north and let her live there, she's just going to get more and more bitter.
I don't know. Well, you can.
I don't know. I mean, Ned would treat her with respect, and
he would have been very patient with her too.
I think that she would have treated him better too, because what she ultimately would have been her play is to get on the throne, right? So eventually Ned would have probably become hand to Robert, and she would have been kind of, oh, you're next in line, and I'll ride on your coattails, and you know, you can take me to the top with you, kind of thing.
It's not really how it works.
You know, more
hand of the king isn't the next in line.
I mean, she might want to like stage like maybe a coup, but Ned would be like, no. I mean,
yeah, but then she just kills him.
I mean, like the moment she gets wed to Ned, I think officially her dreams of being queen are kind of gone. Because by then, I'm betting we're also like Robert marries someone else.
Yeah, but do you know how delusional Cersei is? She brought down the Tower of the Hand.
Yeah, but
he's paranoid.
I don't know. We can at least be like fairly certain there would be no Joffrey, because
Jaime wouldn't have been
Jaime's
around.
in King's Landing, very far away from the north.
Wouldn't he have found a way to come to the north somehow? Because didn't he become Kingsguard? Like, wasn't one of the reasons that he wanted to be close to Cersei?
Yeah, but if he's Kingsguard, he's staying Kingsguard.
Would he
He's
have
staying with the
become?
king.
Would he have become Kingsguard?
Well, I'm saying like this happens like around the time of the tourney of Harrenhal, so like after, well, maybe after the tourney. I don't know, but it would be kind of weird. Because regardless, if he's not Kingsguard, then he's the heir to Casterly Rock, and it would be kind of unfitting for him to be hanging around Winterfell.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay, fair enough. He probably wouldn't.
Then
yeah,
again, Cersei would probably be going home like every month. Why would she ever want to stay in the north for any amount of time? It's just not her style.
Well, even if the Cersei's child is Jaime's, the impact Ned would have on the child would be tremendous. Because one of the things that really fucked up Joffrey was the fact that Robert just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, what if Ned... Okay, well, what, are we good on this one?
I just want to say, I've never thought about this before or ever, because, why the hell would you? Mm-hmm. But I actually really like it. I'm very intrigued. And I have a lot going on in my head right now.
Time to hunt for some fan fiction.
Well, then let it out. I mean, I don't want to switch it off.
Well, no, I mean, it's formulating, you know what I mean? Like, it has to have a fermentation period.
We can come back to it.
Fermentation?
Yeah. We can come back to it. If
okay, so I don't know what you're talking about, guys.
Who's that stranger?
Joining us is Sir Patrick the Tall.
Who invited him?
Our resident Northman.
Paul.
The Kraken needs no invitation.
The Kraken
I see. Alright.
Yeah, Patrick, you've just arrived for us talking about what if Ned ended up wedding Cersei instead of Catelyn for some odd reason.
Why would that happen?
I don't know. Maybe say Tywin is really desperate to get into that big coalition.
No, but it's it just doesn't make any sense logically. I mean, Cersei or Tywin would never wed Cersei unless Robert wasn't able to.
Presumably Robert would have married someone else, right?
Yeah, because possibly Lyanna survives.
Yeah. If Lyanna survives, then there's a lot of other scenarios we also have to take into account, right?
True.
So I would say, well, I would definitely say that if Ned marries Cersei, she would definitely be happier. But Robert would be happier if Lyanna is alive for a while at least.
But Paul made a good point though. Robert wasn't king when they were all wed yet, was he?
Well, Cersei and Robert. Robert was king when he wed Cersei. So,
right, but Ned
I'm kind of bringing this up.
Married, he wasn't.
I'm bringing this up kind of pre-rebellion, where
more
the heir to the
timeline.
throne is already taken, and this big coalition of lords is building up to kind of as a bulwark against Aerys' madness and kind of the absolute power of the monarchy.
I don't think Tywin would ever ally himself with the North like that, not knowing
how
exactly.
It's going to turn out. It doesn't make sense logically, but I'll play along. I guess in that situation, if no one else has been put up, he would still have the ghost maybe of Ashara Dane looming over. So that might also actually beget the same situation as Robert with
Lyanna.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be as bad as that. Because
not as bad.
Catelyn.
He never says Lyanna. He never says her name when he's with Catelyn.
Yeah,
you never know. Might have. It was different. I don't know. I don't care really, but yeah, I think it's essentially there would be a higher probability that they would be at least quarterly married without any hatred towards each other. So yeah, that's definitely one.
You think no matter what, he probably would have tried to find a match for Cersei in Highgarden if Rhaegar and Robert weren't options.
Look at all all the possible allies for Tywin. For Tywin rather, because Tywin is the one who decides who Cersei is marrying. So that's essentially either Targaryen or the Dornish, right? Because those are two that they had like long-standing terms with, right?
Oh yeah, because Joanna and the Princess of Dorne kind of had a idea to like wed Jaime to Elia and Cersei to Oberyn.
Yeah, exactly. So any Dornish house might have done, but mostly just the higher ones, like the what is it like? What are the blonde ones?
The Danes
from Dorne. Danes.
Well, there's Ironwood.
The Danes. Ironwood, or Danes, or Martell, of course. Those three would be more or less suitable matches for Cersei. So essentially, that would be that to marry one of those three, and we don't know enough about anyone, the Danes or the maybe Darkstar.
No, he's from a lesser cadet branch of the Danes.
Oh yeah, damn it.
I think Cersei and Oberyn would have been fun because he would have been like, "Oh yeah, you want to bring Jaime in? Let's do it."
Oh my god!
Probably he would have been up.
Yeah, he would be okay with that.
Very nice.
What if Robert died, but Stannis took the throne? Do you think Cersei and Stannis would have been a thing?
That would have been difficult.
Stannis would have been like, no.
But plus that has to discard the action of them actually marrying before the war was done, because Stannis married Lysa before the war had been resolved.
Stannis never married Lysa.
That's Jon Arryn.
You're thinking Jon Arryn.
Sorry, no, yeah, the other one. Oh well, no, yeah, that's
like what if Robert didn't survive the war?
Oh yeah, that was after
Stannis was his heir, though.
Yeah, exactly, because Robert only soiled the bed after the war was won, because he was a king. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, so that
would have been
straight
up. Well, was he already married to
Cersei?
No, that's
Stannis.
Stannis only married her at Laughter.
Yeah,
she was a Florent. Selyse Florent. Yeah,
Stannis. Yeah.
They only married afterwards.
Yeah.
That's the whole
so
thing
that could have happened.
It could have happened. It's totally possible, but that would also have been very unless you know that Stannis would not have mentioned anyone else's name. Plus,
he wouldn't have said anything. He just
all right.
He would have
done straight up.
Yeah, he would have done his duty as a husband.
3 quick pumps.
Oh God.
Yeah, essentially. So that would have been also
and then she gets suspicious. Why is he hanging around Davos so much?
He cut off his finger so his dick would look bigger in his hand.
Oh God. Ugh. Oh, I can't think of that.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Definitely.
She's not getting fingered tonight.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what if this podcast wasn't as gross as I hoped? But
then it wouldn't be okay.
It wouldn't be. Hey, Brett, you got anything now?
Yeah, what if instead of Jon Arryn being Hand from the beginning, it was Ned right from the start?
Why would Aerys make Ned Hand?
What?
You mean why would Robert make Ned?
Robert.
Hand?
Oh yeah. Tywin was Aerys' Hand.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that my idea would be that Ned would be 17, something like that.
Sure.
He's at that point he hasn't had any formal training as a lord because he wasn't supposed to be a lord. Yeah. So he would be horrible at it. The only thing you could do would be to keep Robert like more honest about.
I don't know if he read the book. He was horrible at it anyway, man.
Yeah, but it was too far. It was too far gone. I mean, already 3 million dead, right? So there wasn't much to do at that point. But he did complain at every single decision that was expensive.
Yeah. I think Ned would be more willing to just kind of put his foot down for a lot of these things and be like kind of shake his friend and go, you can't just keep doing this. We're running a country here. We can't just keep throwing money away like this.
Do you think it would
a while to understand all of the mechanisms of the economy and everything, because he hasn't had any training on it, in it? But yeah, when he started to get the bigger picture, he would definitely be more firm.
And without Jon Arryn as hand, that means Littlefinger never becomes Master of Coin.
Well, yeah, it probably would have been Jon Arryn. Jon Arryn would have been like, hey, Ned, give me a job because my wife, she's a crazy bitch, and I need something that takes me away
Jon
from her
would probably
for long
get, like,
hours.
Master of Laws or something like that, something honorable. And he's kind of like the better diplomat they have, Jon Arryn. And then, I'm pretty sure, like, because Robert would probably just appoint a few people, but then leave Ned to, like, kind of fill in the rest. Maybe give Hoster Tully a position.
Oh, demolished.
Yeah.
Do you think the Lannisters would have come to a head sooner had it been Ned? Because, he had a thing against Jaime from the beginning.
I don't know. Because, like, is this, like, a universe where just, like, maybe, like, Jon died during the rebellion? And that's why he's not around?
I mean, he was pretty old anyway.
Yeah, but because he would be a better pick if he was still alive, because he has experience and whatnot.
And he, like, mentored them, so he was like a father to them.
Mm-hmm. I think
There's a lot of possibilities, though.
Because I think it was like Jon who suggested they keep Jaime alive, but at the very least, I think Ned would have said, send him to the wall or something like that.
Oh, for breaking his oath.
Yeah, for oath breaking, and Ned would be like, even though he was a terrible king and he did terrible things, you were still sworn to him through the sacred vow of the Kingsguard. So we won't kill you, but we're gonna send you to the wall.
It pissed Tywin off.
It would piss Tywin off.
I don't think
would
Cersei
probably
becomes queen.
Oh, Cersei would definitely not be queen.
I don't think the Targaryens, the Lannisters, would go along with that.
I think because it was Jon again who told Robert, Cersei's a good match for you. Pick her to get the Lannisters on our side. But Ned would have been out of his political depth. So,
who's the Florent that Brett, you played in that one FCR? Who gets killed?
Florent?
What's it? Axel?
Yeah, who gets killed by the shadowbaby in Storm's End?
Oh, it wasn't Florent who got. You mean Penrose?
Sir Courtney Penrose.
Oh, that's Courtney Penrose.
Yeah, so he's not a Florent.
The Florents are with.
He had me so confused. It's like, I've only been on one. I think I only played one guy.
Because he would have made a good hand. Any of those Stormlords could have been possibilities too. Reggie Penrose.
But yeah,
it wouldn't have to be Jon or Ned necessarily.
Yeah, well, I don't think Courtney would have been a good hand because he was only a castellan. He was in charge of just watching over a single castle. And that's a bit different than running a realm for a drunkard king.
Well, I think it takes two things, right? And at least a basic understanding of economics, and a strong character to stand up against Robert. And I think Penrose actually exhibits both.
Well,
or at least we can assume as much.
You also need political wisdom, who's on our side, who's not on our side, who can we get on our side.
Yeah, but the other people we've mentioned, none of them exerts that, except for maybe Jon Arryn, but he's also not as strong-willed as Ned would have been, or Arthur Penrose.
Had they picked Tywin to be hand, do you think the realm would have been in as much trouble? Do you think he would have done a good job?
I think he would have done a good job.
Yeah, but we'd still get Joffrey.
Very Yeah, that's true. And he'd be very self-serving. Definitely.
I don't think Joffrey would have been as bad if Tywin had been around his whole life. I mean, he still would have been a shit, but I don't think he would have been...
Grandpa Tywin would be around to kind of discipline him.
Because Cersei and Jaime turned out so good. And Tyrion. So, that's definitely a...
Tyrion did turn out so good.
Tyrion would be
the one that Tywin had the least
in spite of him.
Tyrion would probably be left at Casterly Rock with Kevin and the rest.
I don't know if there's that much wrong with Jaime. He just doesn't care about the political aspect, and all he cares about is his sword.
Dude,
he's just selfish.
He's fucking his sister.
He's just selfish. He doesn't give a
Hey, I'm not
going to
judge him.
Oh,
why not?
The Targaryens wed brother and sister for centuries. It's
now
fine.
they're dead.
But yeah, exactly. First of all, they get weird babies. Second of all,
only sometimes.
Yeah.
I also
second of all, the Lannisters are not the Targaryens.
Yeah. And with Tywin as hand, I think that would also give some kind of dangerous implications for Viserys and Daenerys. Because I think it was like Jon who was like, well, they're beyond the Narrow Sea. As long as they're just exiles, that's fine. But Tywin would be like, okay, let's get rid of these two as quick as we can. And
yeah,
if Tywin was hand from the get-go, he would be locking down the Seven Kingdoms to make sure, like, the Dornish, he, instead of, like, sending an envoy, he would probably be like, either submit or, like, you're getting it.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You don't go to war with the Dornish, you lose.
Well, he wouldn't win that.
The young dragon. Oh shit, he died.
They lost.
Exactly, he wouldn't win
They
it.
beat the Dornish.
The young dragon won for like a week, but then like they did an uprising. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main problem in that scenario is Dorne in any situation, because not only marrying Cersei but also taking Tywin as the hand would be seen as such a major slight that the Dornish could not pass that by.
Because Tywin is also the man who ordered Aaliyah dead and her kids. So.
Yes.
All right, Patrick, have your what if? One of your what ifs?
That's a good question. Well, I was kind of thinking of what if. Well, it's not that far fetched. What if? But what if Ned had just gone directly to Stannis as he had said he would, as he thought he might do, when he just quit his hand job. Hand job.
Oh, God. I'm tired of this, Robert. I can't keep doing this.
Okay, so not.
It was supposed to be 3 quick bombs.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Okay. So yeah. Okay, so quit the job as hand. He thought about going to Stannis, right? So what if he just done that, and what would happen then?
So like he gets on a ship with Sansa and Arya and goes right to Dragonstone. All right, well,
and then back to the north.
Then he's a great deal safer than if he like follows Littlefinger's advice. Because
the cascading down of all the actions. First of all, he would have learned the truth from Stannis, who knows the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he would know what's happening.
Yeah,
and then he could go up and muster his units in the north.
Yeah,
and march down.
Yeah, that eliminates the idea of the King of the North, and it's essentially because then you'll have the North, the Tullys, and all following Stannis, and if he's getting that much support, I don't know if Renly rises up, but if he does, I bet the Stormlands are going to be more sympathetic to following Stannis than Renly at first. Because
the Storm, but even Renly would back that claim, because Renly is also against Cersei. He thinks that's a bad influence, and if Cersei gets executed, he could still push Marjorie on him, on Robert.
Yeah. So, well, and if he tells Stannis, he also, will then send word immediately to Robert. So essentially, it just alienates the Lannisters to everyone in that case.
I don't feel like Robert gets that message.
Oh yeah, because Pycelle is in charge of the Ravens.
He's a Lannister crony.
Well, Stannis would probably be like, I don't trust that guy. Let's send my smuggler friend. And Davos just kind of shows up in court, and he's just like, hey.
Yeah.
Ned, you get your hand job back. Davos has got to go.
Oh god, enough hand jobs.
Okay, so but even if Robert doesn't know or doesn't believe it, it will still mean that both the Dornish, the Reach, the Stormlands probably, the Tullys, and the Riverlands, and the North,
and probably the Vale. because...
No, the veil is because...
because Lysa.
Yeah, Lysa
keeping everybody out of everything.
Veil.
Yeah,
well,
so
then
they
again,
probably won't.
you'd probably, though, have, like, Bronzion going, let's go out there and kick some ass. And
I think he's doing that anyway.
A few Veil Lords, like, join him.
Yeah, and if it's so convincingly for that side, I think Littlefinger would also go along just to get more honors.
Yeah.
And then convince Lysa to do the same.
So essentially, in this case, the Lannisters basically just lose.
Yeah, and then what happens then? They have a lot of units left for either Daenerys or the others.
Yeah.
So they win.
War the Five Kings is averted.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that a lot of the armies, the units that they don't have now, and are then available to fight whomever is threatening the realm.
Yeah.
Except for Varys would have tried to get them to turn on each other. Well, he's like trying to instill chaos.
Yeah, but
so
he could have done
no,
it.
That's Littlefinger is the one who's about chaos. Varys is about like just weakening the current regime to replace it with his.
Which is what the chaos would be. Like he doesn't want everything to be happy and working well.
Yeah,
right?
I think he would work against it, but I don't think he would have the influence to do enough to ruin that strong of an alliance.
Because once the Lannisters are gone, who do you have? You have Honorable Ned Stark, the Tullys, who are just good people. You have, like, Renly and Stannis, and even though they're, like, the bickering siblings, they're still Robert's brothers. And Robert's gonna go, they're not gonna fuck with me. You have the Reach, and Mace Tyrell's not gonna be up to shit. And
plus, Robert would probably marry Marjorie
if Cersei ends up dying. And then the only thing, like, Varys would have to kind of, like, make him suspicious is the Dornish, but Varys needs the Dornish to side with him when the time comes, so...
But one thing also, the Dornish would be appeased if Tywin and Cersei dies.
True, they would be a lot more open to Robert's. Who gets the Westerlands, then, if the Lannisters... Does, like, Tyrion survive this, because he wasn't involved? Or does he get, like, booted to the Night's Watch? Becomes a steward?
You know Robert? He would either be slaughtered, or maybe Ned can... Yeah, maybe Ned could...
because...
Could have saved him.
Doesn't, like, the book say, like, Robert kind of liked having Tyrion around, because they were both kind of drinking buddies? And he found Tyrion amusing. Because Tyrion was around King's Landing for a while. That's why he came up with the royal family. Well, that was a good what if. Joining us is Jock. Hey, Jock.
Hello.
Do you have a what if scenario for us?
Yeah. What if Tyrion wasn't attacked, so he'd be awake when Tywin arrives?
During the battle?
I don't think anything really changes.
Afterwards, if he can maintain his power and see if he can combat Tywin in any way.
Well, as soon as Tywin shows up, his power is gone, because Tywin's hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he might retain Bronn, and maybe his, like, wildling people there, I forget what they're called.
Oh yeah, because the
Mountain Clans.
The Mountain Clans get sent away as soon as Tywin shows up. And maybe Tyrion could do something to make sure they stick around a bit longer, but I doubt he has the authority to allow that.
Yeah. I'm guessing he grabs Shay and gets the hell out of there.
Yeah, maybe just like, okay, I'm heading to Casterly Rock now. See ya.
Maybe, I think that's essentially it. But yeah, essentially, right now, right at that point, Tyrion is just substituting for the job of being hand.
All the power he has resides from his father. So when his father's around, he's got nothing.
Yeah. I'm guessing it goes down similarly to how it actually plays out, but probably before the Purple Wedding, I would imagine Varys comes to him and kind of convinces him to, like, get him and Shay out of the city. And is like, okay, I'll arrange passage for you to Casterly Rock or wherever, but really sends him to Pentos. Anyway.
Maybe.
That's,
I think,
like, I would imagine Varys has that long game in his mind for a while anyway with Tyrion, because like what other purpose does he serve except for going and being able to deal with Dany, and that's Varys's horse, you know?
Yeah. The only problem is that Tyrion right at that point hasn't arrived at the notion that he's not done with his family. He's not ready to kill everyone. So he wouldn't be useful like in the same extent for Dany. Because Dany's mission is to kill all the Lannisters, right?
Well, he might be though. I mean, if he's there when Tywin comes and is present for his own dressing down, as it were, you know, he might have had a different reaction than he wakes up and this has happened. So now he wants to like reestablish himself or get whatever kind of vengeance he can. True. If he was conscious and aware of it happening, it might have just spurred him to, you know, be like, fuck you all immediately.
Because if he's awake, that gives him time to prepare a better defense for when Cersei's like, Tyrion's fucked everything over. Tyrion can go, no, Joffrey's the one who's been fucking things over. I've been trying to keep things, like, at least stable.
Well, he's in a tough place with the whole, you know, he kidnapped Tommen and was holding him basically hostage so Cersei couldn't do anything. So he is.
Yeah, but I imagine that Tywin would have like backed him up on that though, and been like, "Well, I would have done a similar thing because that was a logical choice." Yeah, but that's just hearsay. His actual action of getting Tommen out of the city and separated from the siege is a really key component. You know, as far as him actually threatening Tommen's life, that was just between him and Cersei, and that was because she was being a cunt.
And in any case, Cersei's the one who sent him to Rosby in the first place, and then Tyrion just sent his men to kind of take hold of
kidnap
Tommen.
Him.
Well, they didn't kidnap him because they took him to Rosby as well. They just had him instead of Sir Boros Blount or whoever was with him. And if Tywin's like, "Why'd you do this?" Tyrion's like, "Have you seen Blount? He couldn't kill a cabbage.
Yeah.
I sent some actual good fighters to protect Tommen."
He gave up
Tywin would probably be like, "Okay, you're probably right."
Yeah, because Tywin's not like completely unreasonable.
He's only unreasonable when he sees benefit in being so.
Yeah, I mean, he's not insane. He's a vicious person who's morally bankrupt, but I don't think he's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he's unreasonable at all. I just think he has his own interests at mind. But he'll do reasonable stuff as long as it works for him and his family. So.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He tallies up everything and decides on what afterwards. The only thing he set up not a artificial, but like a few rudimentary rules, like honored for the house, and anything that dishonors the house has to be punished. That's essentially everything for the house, essentially.
Yeah, his first thought is, how does this affect Team Lannister? And that's it.
Yeah.
He's like an atheist, right? So his legacy is all that he has. Mm-hmm. So he clings to that real hard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's devout and worships the seven guys. Come on.
Only the stranger.
Yeah. Okay, this is back to Hannah.
Okay, what if Cat did not leave Winterfell and instead did the smart thing and was like, oh, well, if I'm trusting Maester Luwin enough to watch my damn kids and my house for me and do my job for me, I can trust him enough to take a message to my husband in King Landing. You go do that, and I'll stay here.
Well, she doesn't send the Maester of Winterfell to do it. She sends, like, Sir Roderick.
Okay, or Sir Roderick, whoever. But
you kind of need your Maester. You got a kid in a coma.
Yeah.
Hey, the only guy that knows anything about medicine, why don't you go? Old Nan's got this covered. She's reading him books.
Probably.
I think whoever she sends is dead on arrival. Honestly.
True, because isn't it just Littlefinger that she gets to see Ned?
Yeah, exactly. He loves the Catelyn, so he would let her live no matter what she was doing.
Because if Sir Roderick comes up with like a message, people are going to be asking, why didn't they just send a raven? and then the Lannisters are gonna think, because they know Pycelle is the one in charge of the Ravens.
Yeah,
and so
but
they're
they
gonna
could have
get
made any old
suspicious.
bullshit up. Like, oh, well, I had some business, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I was on my way down to Dorne, too. Like, they could have said anything, literally.
Roderick, well, I was,
Like,
I
oh,
was
well, we
peckish.
got a hot tip that Ser Jorah Mormont was seen in Braavos boarding a ship for King's Landing, so I'm just coming to investigate. Like, they could have literally made anything up. And he could have just walked straight into Ned. He's part of Ned's household. They don't need to explain that away to anybody.
Yeah.
Why are you asking?
The only problem is still Littlefinger.
Yeah.
If he gets wind of what's happening and he can't control the stream of information, he would probably just have Cassell killed.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
or he just lets Castle do his thing and then uses his, like, hey, I have the gold cloaks to convince Ned to kind of do
Or
his
what
rising
if-
up without consulting Stannis. Because that's what he does. At this point, it's because regardless of how the information gets to Ned, it still gets to Ned. The only difference is Catelyn is in Winterfell this time.
I
And
will say,
so,
if it's not
yeah.
for Catelyn, Ned never trusts Littlefinger even an iota. Not even as
True.
much as he did.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't
Right.
trust Littlefinger. So
or
then-
like if Ned and Catelyn had a smart system worked out of like, I'll send you a raven and here's our safe word. Shit's
Here's
going
this
south.
watermelon.
This is the
Here's
safe
the secret-
word.
Here's the secret
got
language
those
that me and my
unicorns.
sister invented.
Well, in any case,
Yeah.
in any case, Tyrion would not have been abducted
Nope.
Right.
because,
She's at Winterfell.
Yeah.
and Cassell would not have done it on his own.
Yeah.
Right.
So even if he dies, even if he gets killed by Littlefinger, Tyrion will not be abducted.
Yeah.
So
Shit doesn't
something.
quite hit the fan as soon as it happens. You don't have Tywin raiding the Tully lands because Tyrion's been captured.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
Tywin. Guys, that wasn't Tywin. Just ask him. He didn't do it. He doesn't know who those knights were.
No, but one
about
thing
that-
that wouldn't happen.
What
wouldn't
about
happen
that
either
big guy
was-
as tall as a mountain? Oh, that could just be anyone.
It could be. I mean, they just
It's-
found a Kingsguard guy that was the exact same dimension, so there's plenty of them out there.
Could be just two. Could just
Two
be
guys
two guys
fighting.
on top of each other. You
Yeah.
don't know that. I've been framed, I tell you.
Quite likely.
All
Yeah,
right.
but so another thing that wouldn't happen
What?
is that Ned wouldn't have his whole household would not have been killed in that situation because Jaime wouldn't have gone crazy then when Tyrion was abducted.
Right.
So-
And I think he gets the girls out at least.
And he sends a bunch of his troops out to go fight Gregor too. So
yeah.
that was like
yeah, you still have
a ton
like,
of his men.
Beric Dondarrion and like a bunch of the guys from the Brotherhood Without Banners still
Well, not-
like in kind of higher standing in King's Landing.
not even just them, but his whole like guard, his household
Yeah.
guard. He sent a bunch of them out.
And it'd be
So,
cool
yeah, that would
just
be
to
a
have
lot different.
Thoros of Myr on your side. He's got a fire sword.
Yeah, see, I think a lot is different if she just stayed her ass at home.
Yeah. So everything's Cat's fault.
Yep. Fuck
That
Cat.
is my contention, yes.
No, it's equally Cat's and Ned's fault.
No, that's true. He's also messed up.
I think you'll find that
It's
Jon
definitely
is the
equally
worst
Cat
of
and
everyone.
Cersei.
Yeah. John didn't exist. Everything.
See, the thing is,
No.
Kat didn't trust Ned away from her, so she had to go check on him, and she was looking for any reason to do that.
And
Because
why
she
didn't
has-
you trust him? Because of Jon.
Bastard Jon.
because his official position is a hand job. She's
To be
like,
fair, I
I'm
think
very
that's-
suspicious about this.
You couldn't say no to the hand job.
You can't, Catelyn. I can't say no to the hand job.
Okay, I can't trust him. It makes
Oh.
me see things differently.
Oh god.
If it was just a hand job, then Jon Snow wouldn't exist.
Oh. Yeah.
That's not how
And
beef
everything
skin
would be
is made.
And everything would be better. All right.
I have one.
Okay.
What if Jon Snow? No. What if Rob had actually married some Frey chick instead of?
Gets ugly babies. unless it's Rosalind.
I assume it would have been Rosalind.
Yeah, because that's when, like, Walder's like, you can pick any of my daughters. And Rob's like, I'll take the one that doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
In that case, you probably have Freys who are far more kind of devoted to the cause now that they're going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Well, they were devoted to the cause anyway. It wasn't until that the slight happened that they left him.
Yeah, but even then, they still, like, Rob hadn't married yet. And I think, like, Walder, because Walder, like, keeps a bunch of, it's like a good portion of his guys in reserve at the Twins. And probably he's like, you get these after you marry my daughter. You get these with the betrothal. But marry her now, and you'll get a bonus half of the other, like, good portion of my army. So they're only, like, half devoted.
Yeah,
it's like Amazon Prime. If you order now, you get it by Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
Probably, there's a big battle, I would imagine, in the Riverlands.
Yeah.
And Rob either wins or loses.
Well,
Rob wins. He wins all his battles.
Rob is actually a very good tactician. And
as good as Tywin, though?
Tywin is more of a political... Yeah, because he outmaneuvers Tywin by forcing Tywin to split his army up. And that's when he takes Jaime's army.
The problem, my main problem with that...
Tywin's is more like tactical in getting allies or ambushes and stuff like that.
My main problem with the whole situation is that Jaime Westling is essentially the one that gives him the idea to take the Westerlands, if that would happen.
No, she doesn't.
That's from the movie. I mean, the TV show.
No,
Jane.
That's Talisa.
No, no. But the thing is that if he hadn't had any reason to go to start going there and like
they were there. That's where he met her.
Yeah,
they stormed her.
Yeah, he was campaigning there, but he wasn't truly like invested. He was just raiding as they raided him. But if he had actually gone. I mean, okay, maybe not, but I'm thinking that the situation is moved along by him having a reason to go back.
Oh, now he has to defend her land too, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's tied to that.
Yeah, but he never makes the effort because most of the Westerling family goes back to Riverrun with them.
There's only 26 of them.
Yeah.
No, but the plan was still to burn the Westlands, right? Afterwards.
They're basically just trying to, like...
They're pillaging his land.
Yeah, they're making sure Tywin can't keep, like, benefiting from his holdings in the West.
Am I mixing the show together? Because I thought that it was kind of obvious that he was going to move on Castle Rock.
Yeah,
that's why he sent Theon. That's why he sent Theon to the Iron Islands to get their fleet.
Okay, well, maybe not. Then.
But that was planned before he went to the Westerlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought that afterwards he was trying to consolidate his power and hit Tywin where it hurt most, which would have been to take the
which was his idea before he met Jane.
But it would only have made sense in the situation when he made the plans before. It made sense because he was banking on at least not being counteracted by the Ironborn, but now it's sort of like so the plan didn't go as well. So you had to like be inspired to do it again afterwards.
Well,
say,
and if the Freys are like in greater support, pretty certain that Bolton will be less likely to turn his cloak. So like at that juncture, because it's Rob's falling apart army with like the Karstarks and things like that force Bolton to go, okay, let me start writing Tywin and figure this out.
He's just going with the flow. I see where this river's headed.
Yeah, and if Roose is more devoted, you don't lose as many men attacking Duskendale or on the fords. Instead, you have a bunch of extra men that you can send back up north to kick some Ironborn ass. And there's still technically quite a few men in the north because you have like the Manderleys and such.
What was Rob's plan when he was moving back and going to the Red Wedding?
Nope.
He
Patrick, I mean, you're right. He had plans to take the rock.
Well, not in the book. In the book, he was headed back up north to free Mokalan.
Yeah, because Mokalan and then
he had to take back
right?
Winterfell. Yeah, because his brothers had just died and the Ironborn had taken Winterfell, and he had to go back and take it because without Winterfell, they're nothing.
That's why he's getting the extra Frey men by going to the Red Wedding.
Right.
So if he just marries Rosalind right off the bat, then he has a bunch of extra men that he can send up in his stead to secure the north. And even then you have the Manderley force who get attacked by Ramsay, but Ramsay wouldn't have attacked if Roose hadn't gone, hey, go fuck him up.
Right, exactly. Ramsay wouldn't have been an issue if it had just been the...
He would have still been an issue to someone, but not necessarily the Starks at this point. Fair.
Yeah. There's one thing also that probably just been the Northmen going up, right? So he would send Big John Umber or something like Great John Umber or someone like that up with almost all the Northmen. And if he had like consolidated his power in the Riverlands, he would have enough forces to stay there also.
Yeah.
If he just stayed as he was in Riverrun with all those men from the Riverlands, and just cut off Tywin from the Westerlands,
and
he would probably still then Stannis might actually have won.
Yeah.
The situation.
And you also have like some of the Lords of the Vale, like Bronze Jan, kind of like biting at the bit to get into the chomping at the bit. No, it's biting at the bit, Brett. What are you talking about? They were biting at the bit, and you have the chance of some extra Vale Lords joining in the battle. When with enough pressure to Lysa, she would probably end up caving. Because if you have all your lords very angry that you're not getting involved, if the war keeps going,
they're going to have to overthrow her. Yeah. She's not changing her mind.
Well, yeah, but that would be easy to do. Like if you just get her cornered in the Eyrie, sure, you can't really take the Eyrie, but they're going to be stuck up there till winter comes.
She just fell. I don't know. The door was open to get a little bit of air in here, and she just fell. Well, that singer pushed her.
Oh, we forgot to put the wet floor sign out.
Oops.
There she goes.
Oh, man. But yeah, I feel like if Robb marries a Frey, the war extends quite a while, and I think eventually the Lannisters are forced to, like, sue for peace or something. They lose, like, the Riverlands in the north.
It's just long enough for Dany to come.
Mm-hmm. Or fake Aegon.
You mean real Aegon.
Real Aegon.
Well, we sorted that one out next.
Was it me next?
Sure.
I think it might be me.
It's your podcast.
Right. Oh, then it's not me. Let me see what I have.
I think it is you.
Up on the docket, yeah. Alright, what if Baelor Breakspear doesn't die?
So we also going novels.
Oh, I'm talking about, because in, like, the detail, I said it could be anything in the Song of Ice and Fire history. If anything changes, what do you think would happen? And so, what would happen if Baelor Breakspear had risen to the throne after his father dies, rather than Aerys?
That is a hell of a question.
He dies soon after because of a disease.
Oh,
true, there's always the chance that the spring sickness takes him, but when I say, what if Baelor Breakspear survives, I mean, what if Baelor Breakspear survives to be king? Not just, what if he survives the Trial of Seven, I'm saying, what if he just survives in general until he gets, like, very old
forever.
or something?
Well, he would have to marry, right?
Well, he was already married. He had his son, Valar.
Oh, yeah. He was
Valar
married to his sister. Okay, so one of them becomes king.
His son must die, right?
His son dies. Both his sons die in the spring sickness, though.
Yeah.
But, like, what I'm saying is, like, around this time you don't have the weakness of Ares, and you don't have the kind of conniving of Bloodraven. And so, you, what do you get? What do you get when Bloodraven doesn't have as much power as he does in the novellas?
Well, let's just focus on Duncan Egg first, right?
Oh,
so,
true.
Aegon might not become king, like
True.
probably.
Well, if
become king.
How old is Baelor when he dies? Because is he? Well, I mean, he can still technically have kids. He just has to remarry.
He's gray. He has gray hair, right?
His hair is starting to gray. I think he's like in his early 40s or something like that.
Yeah. He's older than Maekar, right?
He can still breed.
Walder Frey would be a testament to that.
I mean, I suppose he could get, like, another wife if he's up for it.
Yeah, wink!
He had other sisters, right?
Well, he didn't marry his sister. He married a Dundarian.
Oh, I'm thinking of the first Baelor.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm talking about the good one.
Yeah, sorry.
To be quite honest,
Yes.
he wasn't even really married to her that much. It's like,
That
okay.
much? You mean that long?
He's like, we're married, throws her in a room, locks it. See you later.
Yeah, okay.
Don't have sex.
So how about the Blackfire rebellions? Would there have been more than just the first one?
I think there would have been a lot less support for the Blackfires if Bloodraven isn't, like, pulling the strings. I think, because during the Sworn Sword, spoilers for the Sworn Sword, you have, like, the Greyjoys who are reaving the west and the north, and it's up to the Lannisters and Starks to deal with it themselves because Aerys is just so weak, and Bloodraven is paranoid that the Blackfires are going to invade. So, if this happens, I think the Greyjoys find a better prepared Westeros under Baelor Breakspear, and support for the Blackfires is kind of low comparatively.
Yeah?
Yeah, because Baelor is like this great heroic knightly figure, while Bloodraven is like this sorcerer whisperer that no one really trusts. So
Whisper.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. Does anyone else have anything on this? Or?
It's kind of a tough one to answer because there's so many unknowns. Like, when we're talking about the books, you can, like, connect what connects to what. But there's so much of a gap in our knowledge of what happens.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, George.
Summerhall?
Forget Winds and Winter. Go back to Duncan Egg. We need to figure this out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Don't say this!
George, don't listen to that fool.
Don't joke about it.
How about Summerhall?
Well, Summerhall doesn't happen if Aegon isn't king, so...
Yeah. So, Egg would still be alive for a long while, at least.
Yeah,
And Ares
Egg would just be...
and would not.
prince.
Yeah, the Mad King would not become king.
No,
probably.
he's just like a lesser child of a
And
lesser
then
prince.
Robert wouldn't rebel and win. So
Yeah.
the Targaryens would probably be still on the throne.
So Daenerys would be queen.
No, because she's
No.
a descendant of Aegon the Unlikely. She would probably be a kid at Summerhall, a lesser
probably.
princess.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't exist.
What do you mean?
You saying the
Oh.
Dornish wouldn't have married?
Because
The Dornish wouldn't have
Oh,
married.
there's
into
no R plus L equals D fans around here, I see.
No, because it sucks and it's not
Oh,
true.
No,
oh
I'm-
my god.
No, what?
That's
No,
right.
I'm saying like,
Fair.
okay, if
Yeah.
if Aegon the Unlikely wasn't king,
He would have still married
You know,
his wife
his-
because
yeah,
she was
but
a Blackwood.
okay, but you're talking about like some kind of time paradox now, where that doesn't mean all the, conceptions come out
The same people don't marry
when
all the
such-
same people.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah.
I'm
the same
thinking the
babies don't get
chances are
born.
against-
You
I don't
know,
know.
when they're not drinking the King's Landing water, chromosomes change. And
that's
males become females and females become males, and there's so many different outcomes. Is what I'm saying.
yeah.
So Danny just
We-
becomes
we-
Dan, And hey, I'm Dan Targaryen. How's it going?
Yeah. I'm into dragons. You might not have heard of them. Well, the one thing,
okay.
one last thing for that is that if Rhaegar is the chosen one,
He isn't.
Okay,
I think-
so let's move on.
I mean, no, but I think he was chosen to be the father of whomever, right? Is the chosen one.
By God? By who chooses this?
No.
Who chooses him?
There was who was it? Jenny of Oldstones or something like that. The seer thing. She foresees that there will be in this and this, and he figures out that he is probably the person that needs to do all those things for the prince that was promised to arrive. Right? That's essentially
then
what I'm
essentially-
Saying
laying
if
out.
Breakspear lives, then Dunk doesn't feel so guilty about shit and doesn't rise to his greatness and doesn't hook up with Jenny of Oldstones, giving her magic powers.
I mean, yeah,
It's-
and like a bunch of this, like a lot of things change because then even if Jenny ends up wedding Prince Duncan, it doesn't really matter because Duncan at this point is so far removed from the line of succession because his father isn't king and he's just like the seventh son of the seventh son or whatever. He is like, I bet Egg would be like, you know what? I hung around small folk. They're decent people. Pretty cool. I'll allow you to wed this peasant because honestly, we're not getting shit. So,
Yeah.
At that point, I think they
But
just become lords of Summerhall, beholden to the crown.
But still, the prophecy might have happened. I mean, she might still have gotten the prophecy, right?
Yeah, the prophecy still could have happened, but then people would just be like, "Oh, there's crazy cousin Rhaegar saying he needs to wed two different people." Oh, what a
Do you think,
crazy bastard! Look at him.
Do you think all that stuff that goes down at Summerhall still happens?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
if
yeah. I think so. If no other dragon is breeded, right? Then Aegon might still get the idea to try to revive dragons.
for his cousins who are king.
Yeah, for the family because
family.
the power is so weak for the
So at least
realm.
we know no matter what, somebody's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they're Targaryens. They flip a coin.
Yeah, exactly. What do you
Also,
expect?
Duncan doesn't become a member of the Kingsguard if Aeg isn't king.
Good, so we can
Probably not.
breed with impunity.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
And then you get Brienne of Tarth being like, Grandpa Duncan, what a great guy. I have his looks.
Yeah, and Hodor would just be Hodor still. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cousin Gregor.
Oh,
Cousin
then
Gregor,
again,
yeah.
and if at that point, if Duncan doesn't become a Kingsguard, there's a chance that Lady Weber ends up marrying him after Sir Eustace dies, because in actual canon, after Sir Eustace dies, she actually marries a Lannister, and she's technically, I think, Tywin's grandmother. So if she doesn't marry that Lannister, Tywin doesn't exist.
But afterwards, I would say that there's a little problem also that Duncan has gone to the north after that and probably done the nasty, right? Since
You mean
Hodor
done the
probably is-
nasty?
The nasty, yeah, exactly. That was a good one, yeah. So he might have found someone else that he liked just as well as Lady Weber.
Nah.
He knew her
that's
for
not
what
my ship.
a week.
Nah.
He knew her for a week.
It was a
Well, I
pretty
mean,
damn good week.
Yeah, the best
Dunk
week.
falls for any lady. I mean, he was all about Tansy, and then he's all about her. I mean,
Tenso.
Dunk just wanted somebody.
Well,
Somebody
What a
love
lonely,
actually,
what a lonely guy.
well, canon is
Just wants-
actually that he's only fallen for right now. He's only fallen for Dornish women, right?
Plus Lady Weber.
But she's a Dornish woman,
Close
right?
No, she's a reacher.
More ways than
What?
one.
Oh my god. She's
reaching
from
for the
reach.
hand job.
She's. Oh my god. I don't think she's big enough to do that.
No, I mean she's got to reach up to kiss him. You guys are dirty.
Yes.
Oh, oh, is that what you were
Never
saying,
occurred to
Hannah?
Sorry.
Forgive our disgusting minds.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Brett.
Yeah.
All right. What if Melisandre wasn't terrible at her job and could actually figure out what she's seeing?
Then she
Can
doesn't
you-
go
can
to
you-
Dragonstone. She goes straight to Winterfell. Grabs Jon and goes, "Come with me." And they go straight to the wall. They go straight to the wall, and
Literally,
she's like,
come with me.
okay.
We'll make a shadow baby together.
She abducts Jon.
Yes.
Ned's like, "What
Goes to
happened?"
Pent-
And Tanya's like, "Thank God he's gone."
Yeah, goes to Pentos and gets Daenerys as well, and then
Yeah.
winning.
I mean, if she's good at her job, that means she's basically omnipotent, and she's getting, like, a bunch of, like, visions. She's raising people from the dead constantly.
I think she's having the same visions. No, I'm saying she has the same visions, but she can actually interpret them correctly.
Oh, I
That's her
see.
problem. She's seeing everything right. She just can't
Yeah.
interpret it for shit. Or interprets it her own way.
Okay.
Let me just point out one of the lamest things in the entire series was when she was looking into the flames and trying to see
Azor Ahai?
yeah, and then it says something like all she could see was snow or some.
She even
See
sees
Snow
Jon
banging
Snow at one
Ygritte.
point.
But like that was the worst line
And
in
she's
the
like,
entire
no,
series, and I
I'm
hated
looking for Stannis. Where is he? Stupid.
confirmation bias. No, but
Yeah.
I hated it so much. It just confirmed my it increased my Jon Snow hate, which at that point I didn't think was possible. So.
At which point Tanya threw the book across the room and said no.
I did that I literally did that when they found the dire wolves.
Oh, God.
That's when
When
it
they
started.
found the direwolves, you did that?
Yeah,
when they
because Jon
found it?
Snow was like, "Oh, I'm
It's like
such a
first chapter.
nice person, and I'm the bastard."
Oh, you don't
so
like
I
nice
kill Karma."
people?
No, like that's
If it-
not my.
As a German,
like,
she's
did you-
naturally suspicious of nice people.
That is also true. But,
Like-
but I hated the whole thing about him finding the direwolves and then omitting himself.
He
so
didn't
that
find them.
his-
Rob found them.
Well, like they find them, and then he's like, "Oh, but there's 5 of them, and you have 5 true-born
It's a sigil
children,
for your house.
and I won't take one because I'm a nice guy. I'm the best person. I'm the hero of the story. Oh, look at that! I'm the bastard, and I'm different from everyone else. And,
This was like
there's a direwolf
one
that's also
chapter.
different.
This was like one chapter into the entire series, and already
I
you're like,
hated
fuck this
it. I
guy.
hated it.
Fuck
did-
this guy.
I'm not even like I'm not even exaggerating any of this. I literally put the book down for a week and considered not reading on
I need like
because I just really hated it.
I just need like a psychologist to like sit down with you and be like, now why do you hate Jon Snow so much?
Tell me about your childhood.
But someone, Jesus Christ, someone had pitched the books to me as something that's not like stereotypical fantasy tropes.
And then you're like, it is. They're all
But in
then-
reality, what
then
happened was
Jon
she had
Snow
a
showed up.
stepbrother, and there was one kitten, and he didn't give it to her. He took it for himself.
That is
She's like,
popular.
I hate this guy.
Oh god.
But it was just so frustrating. And I remember that my mom was outside in the garden, and I went to talk to her and tell her how frustrated I was about these books, which she probably didn't know about.
One
But I was
chapter in.
so
Tanya's
I was so frustrated.
And she was like, you probably shouldn't read them then. And you're like, yeah, I know. I'm going back to read it.
I didn't for quite a while. I was like, I'm done with this, and decided to stop. And then I did pick them up again at some point. But yeah, but I've been hating Jon Snow for I don't know half my life.
Since
But
you knew
back
him.
to the
Wow.
question. Do you think
Anyway.
Stannis would have been such a dick about his position
Probably not.
if
I
he
think
didn't
you'd
have her
listen-
chirping in his ear?
I think you would
Yes.
listen to Davos more.
Because that like Selyse against, like, she's saying you should be king, you're the next great one in this world, I guess. I don't know, but it's all because Melisandre's feeding them with
Well,
this.
Stannis would
If she
probably
wasn't-
still want to be king, but he wouldn't be so like high and mighty about it. And he'd probably have
Maybe.
more support because a lot of the lords are like, oh, why would I follow him? He's got a foreign priestess. But if he doesn't,
Right,
they're like, okay, I can do this.
He burned the 7.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that he's still a dick about everything. He's just probably not
As much
willing
of
to
it.
risk everything and like so sure of the outcome without her. She's the one that's guaranteeing him all this crap.
And
So
maybe
he probably would have like taken counsel from reasonable people in a reasonable way, rather than relying on prophecies and mysticism.
Would he still have gone to the north?
that's the part I don't think he would have done. I think the rest of it is probably, well, he wouldn't have killed Renly, but the rest of it he would have done. I think he would have opposed Renly, and I think Renly would have smashed him, and then he would have just been a beaten lord.
Maybe
I think that he totally would have gone to the north, because that's all a raven that gets sent, right?
Yeah, but that's because Davos sees all that, and then Melisandre's like, yeah, that's what I saw in my flames, we should do that. But I think Stannis would have been beaten before that. He might have got sent to the wall.
Yeah,
After his
because
forces were crushed.
Or
And then
like Davos maybe never learned how to read if it wasn't for Mel.
No, I don't think that would have even
Would
came
have had
around.
motivation.
He would have lost before that. Like, he didn't decide to go to the north till they were beaten at King's Landing and everything. They wouldn't have got by Renly's army without her.
Would he have so strongly opposed Renly if Renly had come with like 3
think he
times
would
as
have.
many men?
he would
I
have
think he would have, just because he's Stannis. He doesn't
he
bend.
would have still been like, I'm the older brother, check yourself. And Renly would have been like, how about I just beat your army? And Renly ends up doing that because Stannis doesn't have much of an army. And then Stannis probably gets sent to the wall.
I think Stannis would have seen, if he didn't have any trump card, which he has. He had Melisandre with her shadow babies.
Well, did he actually know that he's like,
No, but
okay,
she-
I get
no,
to
but she
fuck
can-
you, and then I get a magic shadow assassin? Did he
No,
think
she
that when he
assumed-
went to confront Renly?
No, but she's probably assured him that she has a solution if Renly does not bow down.
When have you
He's-
ever seen Stannis back down? At any point?
Well, he didn't do anything about him getting Dragonstone instead.
Yeah, he ran away.
Well, that was his
Two from
brother
King's
asking
Landing.
him to do it. He
I mean,
got
he's-
Dragonstone.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
his duty. But now
Right.
his duty is to become
He
king
lost.
because he's the eldest brother.
Right, and I think he would have fought Renly right to the end until he...
Yeah.
Because this is my duty, this is what I have to do. You have to give this to me, Renly.
I don't know, because he every time he's been attacked and loses, he chooses a different strategy. So I think he would see if there's no way of winning a situation, he would have tried a different strategy.
But he never changes his mind, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he would still have tried to win the throne at some point, but he would not have gone head on with Renly. Definitely not. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't, because he's not stupid.
Maybe. I don't know what he would have done, though. If he doesn't...
Yeah. See, that's the thing I can't predict either, but when he loses at King's Landing, he licks his wounds and changes strategy. And that's essentially one of the things I think he does. He perseveres and uses the resources he has, but he doesn't squander them.
How does
So
he
he would-
persevere? Like, I feel like Renly takes his troops. I don't...
How about the storms end under the rebellion? If you don't eat,
What?
if you don't say eating book covers and shoe soles is persevering, then
No. I think he does persevere. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
he doesn't back down. He doesn't change his mind. He wasn't going to let Renly be king.
No, not that he wouldn't go to war. He wouldn't take the battle there, because that would mean to lose for sure.
But what does he
But-
do? Like, he's not going to drum up any support.
He would have tried something else, but he would
Like,
not
try
have
to go to
done-
Dorne and get them to support him.
Yeah, something else. He would have tried maybe going to the north and helping Jon with
I
getting
guess-
rid of the Ironborn, and then getting their support.
I think Dorne would have been the smartest move because the Tyrells were with the Baratheons.
Yeah.
And they're like enemies, so Dorne probably would have been the smartest move he could make at that point. Although they wouldn't have gone with him, but...
Yeah. So I'm thinking,
Okay.
I think he would try to get some other support before trying to attack Randy again. I mean, it's difficult to really know why everybody's so silent, quiet.
Because everything you say is so perfect. You have nothing.
I mean, it is. I mean, I am a genius in every sense. But it's still, my genius is better when it bounces off other people, right? When they give back or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've made I really have used a lot of time to make what if scenarios in my head for this. It takes a lot of time.
Before Patrick goes to bed, he thinks about
Yeah.
his favorite.
For my own life and for the Song of Ice and Fire. What if? Anything else? Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a couple. I'm writing them for you, though, in the doc, because I gotta go.
Okay, so maybe I have one then.
Okay, I will talk to you guys later.
Okay, so I'm thinking of the main books. What are the linchpin situation happens? In the one I can see that has the biggest influence on everything is that Tyrion takes Shay, King's Landing, has such a wide a range of consequences for him and thereby also for everyone else. But what if he didn't do that and just found some other whore he could have had sex with in King's Landing?
It would have been the same deal. He would have fallen in love with her,
she
and
doesn't-
Tywin would have been pissed.
Not necessarily, because if he just leaves Shay, then he's basically not in love with her. I mean,
No, he would have fallen in love with the next whore, is what I'm saying.
what do you have
You
though?
sure?
If he was so
He has
just
had a lot of whores.
Yeah.
because he's talked about he's renowned for whoring basically, and he hasn't
Right.
fallen in love with any of these. So if
But
he
I don't
doesn't
think
fall in
there's
love with
anything-
Shay, I doubt he falls in love with anyone unless they're very special.
No, I don't think that's
Well.
true. I don't think there's anything about her that's making him fall in love with her. I think that's just about him. It's just, but it may be the situation he's in. Because he clearly doesn't fall in love with every whore. But
She was
but,
just a better actor than other whores were, I think, is what it was. Most of them probably just showed their disgust when he walks in, and she actually played the part.
But I don't think he would have, because he kind of stayed with her for a while, which meant that he was kind of able to grow, that she was able to grow on him.
Oh, she was Shay
while-
the funny whore. Why is he going to leave her?
But if he'd gone to King's Landing, I don't necessarily think that he would kept to just one whore, and that mean he wouldn't probably not have developed feelings the same way.
I don't know. I think he would have fallen for Aliaya.
Well, if we assume that he is just in need of some whore love, then then yes, then it wouldn't be much different. Other than that, Cersei would probably have the right girl when she confronts him with
Right.
her, and then he would have had to back down,
Okay.
essentially.
I mean, I don't agree
Okay,
with
so
it,
it's-
but okay.
I don't
What do you
know
think?
if it's that big a deal. I don't know how much of a difference it makes,
Yeah. at
whether Shay's involved or not.
Do you think he would have killed his father if Shay hadn't been in the
Yes.
in
He
the
was
bed?
killing his father regardless.
yeah.
Because
Completely
by
sure.
then it
He
was
wouldn't-
all about
Yeah, it
Tysha.
just made him more angry, but he was going to.
Because it was about Tysha. It wasn't about Shay.
Yeah.
Where do
Okay.
I think
whores
that just
go?
made it.
Tywin's bedroom, apparently.
Okay, because I would have thought that he would. That was the last straw that pushed him over.
No, it was
The other
Jamie
thing-
telling him that Shay was for real. That's what pushed him over.
Tysha.
Tysha.
Yeah, Tysha. Shay was for real. For real in Tywin's bed.
Okay, well, one good, one not so good. Okay, so anyone else?
Jock. Got a what if?
What if Lob used a body double?
What if who?
Who used a body double?
Lob.
Rob, R-O-B,
Okay.
Which situation? When?
at the wedding?
Red wedding.
People would have been like, you don't look like Rob did.
Everybody knows him.
Oh,
Well,
well,
See?
if
Mordred isn't.
if he supposedly if his body double dies at the Red Wedding, then essentially everyone thinks he's dead, because those who would know different are either imprisoned by the phrase or themselves dead. Most of Rob's army at that point, dead. If he just starts...
obviously...
But the phrase know what he looks like. I don't think he could have a body.
It depends on
double.
how lucky you are in terms of who you find who looks similar enough, right?
Yeah, like, if you have, like, an exact replica, you have a clone, you found a cloning vat, like...
I don't think you'd need a
Kalen.
clone. I mean, it's not like they looked at his Facebook profile yesterday, so it's not like they have anything to compare it to. I mean, they obviously know what he looks like, but they probably wouldn't see him that regularly and wouldn't be that familiar with him. So if it was someone who looked fairly similar but wouldn't have to be a clone, it would probably still work.
Well, the ones that do are of a phrase are either dead or not allowed to attend. Going to be Bolton left.
So what would happen afterwards then?
Bolton's like,
didn't
yep,
die.
that's Rob. That's him. So a direwolf on his head, just so everybody knows.
And even if, like, Rob escapes, who's gonna believe that he's Rob if everyone says, oh, Rob Stark died at the Red Wedding?
I mean, if he did that, he'd presumably keep enough people with him who'd still know.
He's got a lot of people that are still out there.
Oh, true, he's got the
Yeah.
Blackfish.
Yeah.
Well, not just the Blackfish, but the people he sent to go find Howland Reed are still out there.
So I don't think making people believe that he's still alive and that he's who he says he is. I don't think that would be the problem.
The problem, I think,
No.
is that he has, like, no, like,
Support?
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all the lords that supported him die
But, I mean,
in
the
the
least
Red
he
Wedding.
could do is kind of maybe, like, retake the North from the Boltons, because by then the Manderleys are gung-ho, let's do it. I bet the, Lady Dustin is less likely to follow. Even if she doesn't like the Starks, she doesn't want to see Ramsay as the next lord. And she hates the phrase because, Barrowton men died at the Red Wedding too.
She just hates everyone.
Yeah, she's just bitter in
Yeah.
general.
Like my kind of person.
Tanya
She
is
hates
the
Jon
lady,
Snow for
is
sure.
Lady Dustin, essentially.
I think this is quite accurate.
Anyway. And,
She's
except
very
instead of John, she hates Ned. So,
That's close enough.
it's close enough. Close enough. Blood
I'm sure she
relations
hates
is
John
good.
too.
I think she doesn't give a shit about John. She's like, what, he's just a bastard.
It's not that I particularly like Ned. I'm just okay with him because he did actually die really soon.
It's
But
good,
that's
So-
probably how
it's good
she
to hear.
feels as well. So
He was where the tropes definitely flipped, so you were on board with that.
yeah, she probably feels the same way about Ned. So
Oh, he just gets to be Lord because he's a good person? Fuck that guy. Anyway. Alright, guess we'll go on to one of Hannah's then. Hannah's next question that she put down is, what if Joff hadn't sent the knife? So, I kind of need her for clarification, because I'm like, so would he still have tried to kill, Bran, but just didn't use that knife that could easily be recognized? Or
I
if he
think
just
that
never
is.
sent the assassin?
I think that's the first one. Is the one that really has potential.
Well, if it's the first
Right.
one, he sends a different knife, then it's essentially they find Bran dead with no evidence to anyone, and Catelyn can't say who. I think maybe, like, Ned returns from King's Landing because there's a mystery murderer on the loose. But
I don't think so.
You don't?
No, I don't think he returns for that.
His son gets shanked while he's in a coma.
His son was already dead. His son was already dead to him. He wrote him off when he left.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Well, not according to one of our
there's
first
a point there. I mean, if he
conversations.
doesn't stick around while he's in a coma, he might as well not come back for that.
You heard it first. Ned hates Bran.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, if he left in the first place,
Well, he left in the
I
first
don't-
place because Maester Lewin's like, well, he's gonna, like, survive for now. And Ned's like, well, I
No.
got a job to do.
Well, no, what he said was he's either going to make it or he's not. This doesn't have anything to do with you. Even if he wakes up, he's
Very
probably going to be
useful.
cripple. And Ned was like, all right, well, cross him off the list. North's too hard for a cripple to live.
Well, still, before we said that, like, if Bran had died in his coma, this is essentially if Bran had died, except it's just a different reason. Instead of Bran dying naturally, it's
well, no, I mean it's the
Bran
knife
dying
that's
by
different.
knife.
Yeah, it's not the scenario. The scenario.
Like-
Bran,
he's in a different.
Bran doesn't die. Summer still kills
It's just not
the
the
guy,
same knife,
but it's not the same knife. Okay,
so there's no evidence.
Well, then, I guess there's not really evidence to point the Lannisters to anything.
Well, I mean, they're
I
still
think Cat
pointing toward the
becomes-
Lannisters.
A little bit, but I think Cat.
It doesn't point toward Tyrion.
Yeah, it doesn't point toward Tyrion. I don't think Cat maybe kidnaps him on the way back to.
I don't know though. She's like-
one thing that wouldn't happen is that Tyrion wouldn't suspect Joffrey, like not very clearly suspect Joffrey as he does.
But he never really does
whatsoever.
anything about it in the first place. So
But
whether or not he
but check it out. But he wouldn't have
Cared who did it.
who done it.
I don't think if it hadn't pointed the finger at him.
Yeah,
But wouldn't Littlefinger also have tried to pin it on Tyrion anyways?
Yeah, Cat shows up with just like a nondescript knife. He's like, I've seen Tyrion with that knife.
the only one who owns a knife like this, besides everyone else in the Seven Kingdoms, is Tyrion Lannister. Yeah. I think you should start with him.
He turns around. He's like, "Did you see the T carved into the bottom of the handle?"
He would try, wouldn't he?
You see, Cat, if I turn the knife like this, it looks like a T. Therefore, it must be Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
What about Tywin? No, that doesn't make any sense, Cat. Don't be silly.
Yeah, Tywin's not that self-absorbed. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it would be more difficult for him to pin it on Tyrion, but he would definitely try somehow to pin it on the Lannisters.
So I guess her whole what if is, what if Cat didn't take Tyrion? Isn't that kind of what we're getting at? Like,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but we already done that, so
Moving
essentially
on.
by
This one doesn't count,
Cat
Hannah.
not going.
I'm sorry.
by Cat not going to
What if
King's
rejected?
Landing, he wouldn't take Tyrion. So that already happened in another
Right.
situation.
Yeah, but what if in this situation?
What if?
I was just making more troubles and worse bread.
Alright.
Alright, next.
Should we just go through Hannah's and then go back to what we were doing, or?
Yeah, then go back to the good ones after.
Oh, Patrick.
Oh no.
Says the guy who's like, what if Shay didn't go with him? Who cares, Patrick? Who cares? Next.
I care, okay?
If there's
Well, we
anything
care about
Patrick,
what Hannah says.
if there's anything Patrick cares about, it's the whores.
Mhm.
All right. What if Arya hadn't revealed her identity to the Brotherhood? Does she reveal her identity? Isn't it Harlan
Yes.
who's with them? Who's like, that's Arya Underfoot.
No, she jumps out. She's like, Harlan, it's me, Arya Underfoot. Remember, you used to kick me when I was little?
It's just what? Kick her.
Is that how it happened?
Yes,
That's
she was so
that's
fond.
exactly the word.
She was so fond of the memories of getting just kicked. That she's
Well,
like,
she should have been
Harlan.
Underfoot.
Does that just kind of mean maybe that? Well, I'm asking you guys because Hannah isn't here anymore. That she doesn't like end up with the Brotherhood. She and Gendry and Hot Pie just keep wandering from place to place.
No, I think they stay with the Brotherhood because it's good for them.
She just becomes Arya.
Arya Nomad. I don't know.
I mean, if that's the case, she doesn't go to Bravos because the Hound never takes her, and they're never gonna sell her to her family.
Well, the Hound would still know who she is, so if she's still around when the Hound gets there, I think she still confronts the Hound and tells who she is.
Then in that
because
case,
she wants him
nothing
to get
changes.
his. Well, yeah. Well, they just don't know as early as they did before.
They're hurt. They're hurt that she didn't trust them.
So basically,
Well, thing is,
it's
if you're saying
just as bad as my Shay going to King's Landing.
well, if she jumps out of the brush and declares herself as Arya to Harwin, even if she like approached the Brotherhood without banners, wouldn't Harwin be like, "Wait a second, I've kicked you before"?
She didn't jump out of the brush. They were taken by Engai.
Well, then Harwin would have recognized her regardless.
But
It
Harlan
doesn't
wasn't
matter
there
if she
at the
says
time.
her name.
No, she
She's-
had to like
she's
point
like-
out who she was because he was like Arya.
Yeah, she's like
He would have suspected.
He's like
Arya?
she's like a
And
year
then she
old.
changes her accent and goes, no, I don't know Arya. No.
It's not Arya.
Who's he?
She puts on like a fake mustache. It's a me, Arya.
I'm a boy.
the orphan
Duh.
boy.
No,
boy.
yeah. Well, he would probably not recognize her because, first of all, she's older and that has more effect when that age, right?
Yeah.
She
And
changes
second,
a lot. Plus,
he's a
she's
stupid
30, short hair. Yeah, so
Alright.
if she didn't want to be recognized, she would not have been.
So then, supposedly, then the Hound wouldn't have recognized her then if Harwin didn't recognize her.
I think
But
she
the
would have
Hound had
came
seen her
forward.
more recently, right?
Yeah, but I think she would have came forward with the Hound
Well, the
because he was going to get away.
The Hound would have just seen her around the Red Keep, as would Harwin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he went with the household. He only left when Barrack left. And that was
Yeah.
only a little bit before the coup kind of thing happened.
I mean, the Hound didn't recognize her until she pointed out who she was,
Yeah.
or the reason why.
And the Hound
but-
doesn't really give a shit. In the first...
Right.
But it's
But
also
I don't-
possible that one of them would have recognized them
This all relies
after a
on
bit of time
foolish
thinking about it,
peasants
just because they didn't
recognizing their
immediately
betters.
recognize her.
Harlan was like the Master of Horse's son, though. It's not like he was some peasant.
Son of the Master of Horse is not exactly a high...
The highest.
He is...
I'm sure he had dinner right beside Ned Stark at some point.
As
His-
did, like,
his
the
father.
local miller, I'm betting. And...
Oh, Miller's a big deal. He's like, you have two sons,
boys.
right? They're about the same age as mine.
Oh
Together
my
sometime.
god. No, not the Miller's boys.
Well,
Don't they look a bit similar? Yes, I suppose, if you burn them alive.
like I guess I do agree with Brett that she would probably come forth when the Hound arrives and is put on trial because she
She just hates
does
him
not
so
like
much.
the Hound.
Well, she's
Yeah,
the only
exactly.
one that has real evidence against him. Everything else is like the Lannisters and Gregor.
Well, they still would have,
Yeah,
like,
so-
forced him into, like, a trial by combat regardless. Because they're like, fucking Lannister.
So she would still have been
Or are you
Like-
saying that the Brotherhood without banners are reasonable?
Reasonable.
Heck no.
Hey, they gave him an IOU.
That I doubt is ever going to be fulfilled.
Well, no, because he gave it to that guy that was crossing the river. Now he'll never get it back.
I'll never get it.
Sandor. Think
Oh.
through it.
Oh,
Jesus.
Sandor. Anyway, and the last one she put was actually kind of interesting. If the Hound had taken Sansa
Oh,
out of
that's
King's
amazing.
Landing. Uh,
That's what I'm saying.
included in this episode will be several links to fan fiction of Sansa and the Hounds that all have to do with what happened if Sandor... Like,
Yeah,
well,
I feel like that one's been
Yeah.
extensively answered.
I suppose Sansa gets back to her family just in time for them to be killed in the Red Wedding, except maybe her, she probably gets forced into marriage by a Frey.
Blackwalder.
Oh no. So, would it have been better if she was with Blackwalder or back in King's Landing with Joffrey? This is very much a no, or if the Hound,
I
overwhelmed
don't
by his feelings, whisks her away and they live happily ever after in some cottage somewhere.
I don't see how Sansa makes it on the road. I mean, he can travel with Arya because she has appreciable skills, but Sansa
Yeah.
is just going to be a drag. I think he gets caught if he takes Sansa.
She does pick other skills up quickly, so I wonder if she wouldn't manage to adapt better than we might think.
But the thing is, he
Yeah.
takes Sansa, and then they go looking for Sansa. I mean, everybody's looking for
Sure,
Sansa
okay,
as it
yeah,
is.
yeah, that's true.
If they're like, yeah, she was with, there's this red-haired woman that was with this giant. It's like, oh,
Ugly,
that's them.
this ugly scarred guy with a pretty red-haired maiden. Oh, did he have a Hound's helmet? Yes. Okay, I think we know who it is.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right.
So I think they
yeah.
get caught.
They don't get far. All right.
Probably not, unless they go directly to Rob or Catelyn.
Which is
I don't
kind
think
of
they make it
hard
that far.
when the Riverlands are just war torn Anyway.
Well, they
That's what I
could
mean.
they could probably have reached some sort of
Or they probably might have
Stark or Tully forces.
Yeah, but the closest one is Roose Bolton, who's already planning to betray them. So then maybe Roose is like, my son Ramsay requires a bride. So then we just get season 5 and 6 of Game of Thrones.
No.
That's what
No
we
spoilers,
get.
no spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers, no spoilers. I don't know
Oh,
anything.
sorry,
It's
Tanya.
before Duskendale, though.
Is it before Duskendale?
Yeah, because he sends it away afterwards, because it was Tywin in the Blackwater, and he sent Gregor Clegane out.
It would have been Tywin with all the powers of the Reach, like, going to look for her, because it would have been a big deal to get her back.
So it depends if they've done into Albert Glover or Orlando Torley's army first.
I think they would have got her back.
Yeah.
It would have been like priority number 1. Sandor they didn't give a shit about. He left, whatever.
He probably dies because he's
as long as she doesn't go to Ramsay, then I'm fine.
Okay.
She wouldn't have made it that far.
Okay, so if Hannah's done, then it's back to me. If I had one.
Did you?
Of course I did, Brad.
What if we had prepared for this?
Are you implying that I came to this unprepared?
If you're anything like me, you did.
Yeah, I think I might be a bit like you.
I prepared really well. I thought about how much I hate Jon Snow a lot today.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock. It's time to hate Jon Snow time. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Time to hate Jon Snow again. Every hour on the hour.
Yeah. Got reminders on my phone.
What if Aegon had decided to invade Essos instead of Westeros?
I think he would have gotten beaten down. It's too big. I don't know if he would have gotten beaten down.
No, but he has the dragons.
He has the dragons. And his sisters. Wives.
Yeah.
Sister wives.
Well, can't us all that beaten?
It's too spread out. I feel like it wouldn't have been the same as
but
Westeros.
so is Westeros. Westeros is very spread out. Westeros is like...
Essos is huge. It's like
yeah,
4
but
times the
I'm not
size.
saying like all of Essos. Like he's flying down to Yi Ti and like kicking down the door with a sword. I'm saying like the general area where Valyria had their...
Didn't they go there because they ran away from Essos?
No, they ran away from Valyria, which was going to implode. And then he went back to Essos to like fight in a war between Myr, Tyrosh, and Lys, and then he came back for the conquest.
So they stayed on Dragonstone for a while before actually invading the rest, right?
Yeah, like 4 generations of Targaryens were just at Dragonstone, not doing much.
So we assume that they're still on
dragons.
Dragonstone, growing dragons on Dragonstone before going to
they're still breeding,
either Essos. Yeah.
Yeah, they're still breeding dragons. They still have the Valerians and the Celtigars on their side.
So in this has there passed 100 years from the Doom of Valyria?
Yeah, the bleeding years are just about wrapping up. The free cities are establishing themselves once again.
Yeah, because then Braavos would have shown himself.
Yeah,
and
well, Braavos had showed itself way before then, but
I think there's a better chance Essos knows how to deal with dragons.
True, but you do have, I don't know.
Dragons.
You do have dragons. I mean, supposedly the Dornish just took down Meraxes because it was like a lucky ballista bolt to the face.
I think he might have been able, if he knew where Braavos was. And
everyone knew where Braavos was at that point.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't that long before.
No, but during when Valyria was around, the Braavosi finally did reveal themselves. Like, hey,
no, it was only after the Valyrian.
No, because I remember that the Braavosi, when they revealed themselves, they went to the Valyrians and paid them back for their ships, but not the slaves, because the slaves were people.
No, but they didn't show where they was. They just told them that they existed. But
knowledge his ass, Paul.
I'm looking up the wiki.
The location of Braavos. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the location of Bravos wasn't known until 100 years after the Doom of Valyria.
The existence of the city was a secret for a century. Settlements were paid to the descendants of the former masters of the escaped slaves to compensate for the ships that had been stolen, though the Braavosi refused to pay for the value of the slaves. Sounds like they were hidden for 311 years.
In 7 days.
In 7 days. It does not say specifically that they revealed their city on the map to the Valyrians.
Like, it's right here. Don't go there. It's right here. If you see the giant titan, you've gone too far.
Yeah. You have like 1,000 dragons, so we just want to tell you, please don't go there with your dragons.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
I'll allow it, but I think as soon as Valyria fell during the Century of Blood, Braavos was like, okay, now that the dragons are gone, we're here. Don't.
But the dragons wasn't gone.
Assassins for hire.
But
the dragons weren't gone. They were just.
But during the Century of Blood, Volantis was attacking Braavos because they're like, they're the fuckers. Let's get them.
Yeah.
We're Volantis. That's the voice of Volantis. Hi, I'm Volantis. This is what Volantis sounds like.
Well, they were attacking the Braavosi ships, but were they attacking the city of Braavos?
Let me check the wiki again.
I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure that it took a long while after the Doom of Valyria before
the original
Braavosi
question?
actually shown. So the point was they were going to the Essos. If Aegon knew where Braavos was, he would probably have gone and burned Braavos down. If he as a first logical choice, because they're really anti-Targaryen, right? So he would just
I'd say
burn
Essos
them.
is very anti-dragon.
There's like nothing in the wiki that's like, and this is when Braavos actually told people where their city was. There's just basically, while Master Yendel states that Sea Lord Uthero Zelaine had sent forth his ships to every corner of the world in order to proclaim the existence and location of Braavos during the unmasking, at the 111th festival celebrating the city's founding, the city's location remained hidden for another 2 centuries. Damn it, Yandel, stop fucking with me.
Yandel's an idiot. He's like,
Fuck
guys,
you,
go tell
Yandel.
everybody where it is. 2 centuries later, you still haven't fucking told anybody where it is. Did the boats not come back yet?
I'm trying to find like a specific year when they declared themselves. Because then it goes on to say, during the Century of Blood, following the Doom of Valyria, Volantis attempted to take control of Valyria's daughters. The Volantines managed to take over Mir and Lys, but when they tried to attack Tyrosh, the Sea Lord of Braavos sent 100 ships to aid them. During Aegon's conquest, a dozen Braavosi warships helped the Kingdom of the Mountain and the Vale in the battle against the Targaryens.
Yeah, so he would definitely attack Braavos first. And if he'd taken down the Braavosi fleet, the Volantine would have supported him, right?
I suppose.
At least.
I mean, I think the Volantines would have supported him if they said, if you make Volantis your capital, to to guarantee that we are the true child of Valyria and deserve to be, yeah.
Well, if he just married into the Volantine, so they had an heir, or
if he married into the Volantines, would he still marry his siblings?
Maybe not, or maybe his first son would have married into the Volantine, whatever.
Yeah, all right, I can see
So
that.
in any case, if he has the Volantine, and he has destroyed Braavos, that's the first thing he would do, definitely. Then,
well, I don't know if he would destroy Braavos. He would probably be like, okay, this is my city now, and only if they attacked him would he destroy Braavos. And I doubt the Braavosi would be like, they would probably just say, just make sure there's no slavery in the city, and we're good.
He would have been like, oh, hey sis, we're gonna take out the Braavosi. Whoa, why are you stabbing me? Faceless man, bitch. That's how we would have gone down. He would have lost.
Yeah.
He'd just burn Braavos with immediately, and no faceless men would have attacked him.
I think the better question would be would Westeros ever have united, or would they just have been
Probably
warring
not.
kingdoms the whole time?
Because it was dragons that united Westeros.
Right.
They would probably just all be separate.
We see what happens when the dragons disappear. They all start fighting again. Because everybody wants to be king of it all. Huh?
The Free Cities?
No, the Seven Kingdoms.
Well, the Seven Kingdoms are going to still be fighting regardless if there's dragons in Essos or not.
Well, that's what I was asking. You think they ever unite, or you think they're always going to be at war?
Nah, I think they
because
might
they're at war now.
They might have alliances, but they'll always be separate kingdoms.
Right. Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Brett.
Yes.
Well,
Okay. If Cersei had never heard her prophecy, would that have changed the way she feels about Tyrion later on in the books when she thinks he's trying to kill her all the time?
I don't think she'd constantly think he'd be trying to kill her all the time, but I don't think she would have liked him because he's ugly.
Right. But she assumes the whole time like he's going to kill her because she was prophesied that and all the other things that came true in the prophecy. Like if she didn't know that, would she have been the same way toward Tyrion later on in the books? Would she have like set this whole trial up against him?
But the problem is she never thinks that he's going to kill her. He's going to kill everyone she loves.
Well, still,
whatever.
That's still the same kind of thought. And if she doesn't think that, I think she and him just kind of have cold relations, but they don't exactly hate each other.
They're not at each other's throats.
No.
Because I don't think Tyrion actually wanted her dead until after the whole trial thing.
Yeah, he was just annoyed with her up until then.
Yeah, she's too stupid to hate that much. To him.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, problem solved.
Good. I'm glad I had a quick one. Let's roll on.
Patrick? Or Jock or Tanja? Or are we just going to end here?
Let's do one more. Wrap it up big. Come on.
All right,
something good.
Let's do one big one.
One big one.
What if Jon Snow?
Alright, what if Jon Snow was never born?
I think it's worth doing, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe, what if Jon Snow was born as a girl and wasn't such a fucking waste of time?
That's also an option.
Okay, well, let's say what if he was born a girl? Because I think that's actually something unique.
Yeah, because Rhaegar was hoping that he would be a girl. So not only has he disappointed Tanja, but he has disappointed Rhaegar as well.
I don't think Rhaegar lived long enough to be disappointed.
Well, he was always disappointed.
True. From beyond the grave, he was like, "You were supposed to be a girl." Anyway. If he's a girl, do you think Kat is so opposed to him?
She's not going to be as afraid that he would take over. I mean, granted, it's still like a symbol of Ned's supposed
infidelity.
Yeah, so she'd still dislike her, but
not she wouldn't be afraid of her.
Yeah.
She'd be all mean
Jonah.
girls with her, like Sansa.
Jenna.
We don't talk to her.
Jon Snow.
Jenna. I feel like because everything is sexist, it just wouldn't matter. Like he just wouldn't matter in the greater scheme of things.
Yeah.
Maybe
he doesn't.
Maybe essentially maybe she just gets like I don't know.
She still wants to send her to the wall because she just hates her so much. Like, you ever heard of Danny Flint? Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, she wouldn't be able to go to the wall, so I don't really know what would happen.
I don't know, maybe the face?
She wouldn't matter. She wouldn't have to go to the wall because she can't take over Winterfell.
Yeah.
She doesn't matter.
She would get raped by Ramsay.
She probably hangs around Winterfell as kind of a like pseudo-serving girl.
She probably would.
Do you think Kat would be okay with that, though?
I don't know.
She still wouldn't like her. It wouldn't be.
No, she'd be washing her clothes.
Yeah, because it'd be a constant sign of Ned's infidelity. Maybe she just has Ned like wed her to like one of the lesser bannermen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe to like a manderly cousin or something.
And then sometime down the road, Ramsay has a bitch named Jenny.
Is that a thing people do? Do bastards marry?
Bastards rarely marry each other, but they can. If it's still kind of an honor to, even if it's the Lord's bastard. If you're like a lesser lord, or you're like the sixth cousin of a great lord, you're still like, hey, cool. I get to say my wife is the blood of this person.
But Arya and Jenny would be the bestest friends.
Bestest friends.
Bestest friends.
I don't know. Maybe Rob and her would be.
Oh. Oh no.
Theon.
Oh
Theon.
no.
Oh, God.
Oh
That probably-
no.
I can see that happening.
Oh my.
Ship,
I'd certainly try.
I ship Theon and Jon Snow. Oh god. It's horrible. Why did we end on this one?
I quite like the idea.
But
I think
it's
I'd be okay with that. I think I could
it's
live-
easier doing that than having like, what if Jon Snow wasn't born? Because then you're like, well, where are we? It's too hard to,
True.
Yeah.
because obviously he's a big part of the story. It's like,
But does
What
it
if-
make, to be honest, does it make such a big difference though? Because this should... this is a terrible thing to say. I'm a feminist, but
what percentage of these books are Jon chapters?
Well,
Well, now they're
Would
just
you say,
like-
chapters.
20? 15%?
sure, but what would still happen in those chapters?
I don't know.
He is
'cause
our
if she's
eyes
still
of
at
the North.
Winterfell during the
Like she wouldn't be
wars.
around for the fucking first chapter because Ned didn't take the girls,
yeah.
so he presumably wouldn't have taken Jane. So I wouldn't.
So they would have just killed the direwolves. And
Yeah.
Bloodraven would have been like, you know
Maybe.
how long I planned that?
Yeah.
If you just brought
that
that
would've
snow
happened.
bitch, she would have known.
And Bran would probably not have awakened his like his abilities because he didn't have the warging to do that with. So Bran wouldn't become a tree. Yeah. He would be dead actually.
Do you not
Because
think
he-
Rob would have been able to convince Ned that they get to keep them?
No, because it's the only thing that
No.
that convinces Ned is that
They're a
Jon
sigil
is
of their
selfishly leaving himself out. That's the
They keep him and like, Theon's like, ooh, I get one too. He gets back.
Oh yeah,
and
Theon
Snow's
would
like,
get
that's
goes.
supposed to be mine.
yeah. So Theon would be the prince that was promised.
No. I mean, and then you have to ask yourself, would Ned take her down to King's Landing with Arya and Sansa? 'Cause-
No.
So he would keep her with Catelyn.
No, he probably actually would take her with him.
Yeah.
What?
Because
Hey.
Catelyn's going to be like,
Well, no, because she's a
no.
bastard. That's the whole point why you can't
Yeah.
bring Jon, because you can't have a
Yeah.
bastard at court. So he
Yeah,
wouldn't
so,
bring
so
her
you can't
either.
take her for the same reason, yeah.
Hey, dude, what if Theon is the prince that was promised? Because he did do a major sacrifice, and now he's reborn, right?
Insult and smoke.
From one character to one character to another character.
Is he a ham?
He's totally the prince. He's the prince that was promised.
Not convinced.
Why do you
But
keep
you are
wanting a
convinced
Greyjoy to
that-
be the prince that was promised?
But Tanja, you are convinced that Theon and female Jon would work out pretty well.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So
I'm not
so
arguing.
so if Jon Snow never happened, I think that Theon would be the third head of the dragon.
Yes. Except instead of a head, he's just a weird tentacle that's sticking out too.
I would say if Jon didn't exist, I'd believe more in the R plus L equals D theory.
Yes, I would certainly
Yeah, definitely.
That
believe
point.
that more than I
Because
don't
then
right now.
Because then there wouldn't be any real alternative.
Because then we're like, well, what do we do now? What's the point? They're all gonna die once the zombies arrive. But then again,
That's better.
maybe then George wouldn't just have included the others, and it could have been just the
It
perfect
would have just been a political drama.
political drama that I had come for. Instead, I'm getting high fantasy. What the hell is this?
That would have worked.
Yeah,
could
god
I
say-
damn.
thought this was medieval John Grisham. Damn it. Thought it was a whodunit.
There's no Johns here, Brett. Just James.
It's essentially
What about John
Jew,
Aaron?
just in medieval times.
What,
It
was
is.
that Josh?
Wouldn't it have been who named John? Did Ned name
Oleana, I
John?
think.
Ned named John.
Or John.
Wouldn't
Ned.
it be
Okay.
offensive for Jon Aaron to have a bastard named after him?
Does,
So
doesn't
that's a
look
bit
like
like,
John.
oh,
Yeah.
you raised me and I really respect you, but I'm not gonna name my heir after you. But if this bastard, like, I can call him
Look.
John, I guess.
If John Aaron assumes that it's
Yeah, but-
Shardane, that's his mother, then it's not really that big of a problem. It's two highborn persons
Yeah.
just making a bastard.
Well, either way, it's two highborn persons.
Sure, but I still
Well,
feel like that's a
we
very
never get,
unflattering
like,
thing to do.
a
You're
part
still
in
a
a
bastard.
chapter where John Aaron is like sending a letter to Ned, and it's like, Ned, you dick, why the hell did you name your bastard after me? What the hell did I do to you?
Yeah,
He's like,
Just
John's a
because we
common
didn't
name.
see that chapter doesn't mean it didn't happen.
and bite my thumb
What
at the.
if John Aaron's and
I mean, if, like, John is born a girl, what the hell does Ned name her then, if not Jane? Because Jane is such a
Jane.
common name. There are so many Janes in the book.
there's so many John. I don't
Jane
know, there's-
Poole, Jane Heddle, Jane Westerling, Jane Farman,
Joanna?
What?
Joanna.
Joan?
Well,
Are
I
we
don't
just doing
think-
J names? Jenny of Old Stones?
Jenny works. Jenny Snow. Instead of Jenny.
He names her Brienne.
That's also an option.
I mean, any name isn't an option at this point. Maybe he just is like just
Very
really on the nose and names her Ashara.
He names her
Or-
Catelyn. Here's my bastard Catelyn
Oh,
Snow.
that's terrible.
I don't think Cat would
That would have been horrible. Yeah, he would not have been popular, I think.
Or if maybe Ashara, because if John is a girl, do you think Ned would be more likely to maybe give her to Ashara to raise as her own? Or would he still
So-
be suffering under the delusion of promise me Ned?
Well, if you give it to Ashara Dane, isn't that a problem that Ashara
Oh,
Dane
Ned
is-
wants to give
has
it to Ashara
committed
Dane.
suicide. Committed suicide.
don't give
Well,
babies to.
He
to
arrives.
people who commit suicide.
We're talking like theories are fact here, so I don't know if we should. I don't know. It's weird when we're doing a what if and we're talking about like theories like they're fact.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah, I
What-
mean,
what
so-
if this theory is accurate?
well, the main consensus,
Yeah.
apart for people with the correct part theories, that John is the product of Rhaegar and Yara, right?
Right,
So-
but what does Ashara have to do with that?
Well, she's
Ashara
still
was
there.
banging Ned before then.
They like each other, right? Let's just
Sounds like a
assume that-
theory to me.
It's not a theory. It's truth. It is to me.
Everybody says so.
I've been hearing. People have been
I was
saying.
out on the street. I heard everybody saying it. It's so true. It's the best
Shit.
thing ever.
Oh,
He had sex
It's
with
the-
Ashara, and it was good.
It's the truest
and it
and
was
best theory
fantastic.
ever. Yeah.
it's not even funny anymore. It's now just sad. Yeah.
They're sad.
Do you think
But
we?
yeah, I honestly don't think that it has a huge impact on whether John was never born or is a girl up to this point in the story. I don't think it makes a huge difference.
Well,
Tanya's like everything John has ever done in his life means nothing.
No. I mean, the things John has done wouldn't have happened if he was a woman, and they wouldn't have happened
If he didn't exist.
Yeah, so I'm just saying there's not much. It pains
Yeah.
me to say this,
There's not
but I
much
don't
of
think
it.
there would be much of a difference between.
That's a
him
very
being a
sexist
woman or
point
not
of view
being
for you to
born.
take, Tanya.
No, she's
Okay.
actually
That's
saying
because the
exactly the
books are
same.
sexist.
I know. Yeah.
so I'm so disappointed in you.
Fuck
Sam.
the patriarchy.
But if
No, so
if
So
John didn't
one
exist, though, the
one
wildlings
difference
are in the
is-
north.
yeah.
there's one difference, right? If she's still alive, in any form, female or whatever, then she has still a possibility of being the Princess Promise,
Yeah.
Sure.
which means
Yeah, sure,
Which
but I
means
mean, like
you can
up
still
to what has happened
save
in
the
the
world.
books so far.
Yeah.
So.
What John has done in the book so far would not have happened. What
Melisandre's
Jane,
like, I keep seeing this bastard at Winterfell every time I search for Stannis.
yeah,
oh god.
A lot more confusing.
mean,
isn't it?
Yeah.
something weird could have happened, and she could have learned how to use the sword. I mean, Ned might not even have cared because she's not any threat.
No, I don't
Um,
think that's particularly unlikely, but
Well, it
but
depends
she
on
wouldn't
her
have gone to the
attitude.
Night's Watch. So
Do not join the Night's Watch. No.
I mean,
But
this
you might-
opens
that's
might-
like the
this opens possibilities for like new storytelling. Like, what would Jane have gone off and done? What kind of
Well, she's-
adventures would she have during the war?
She's been born in Dorne, right? So she can actually still inherit by Dornish law, right?
She's not
essentially, but no one knows that she is the product of R plus L equals J, except Ned and Howland Reed.
Do you think you have to keep it a secret since she's a bastard and she can't inherit anyway? Or do you think Robert would want her dead regardless?
Robert would still be like, fuck no, that's the rape baby of Rhaegar. Kill it.
Yeah.
Could she like if he sold her off as the
I mean, things could
Dane, she could probably have
probably, but Ashara, they already, like, Ashara was, like, third in line because her older brother has a child, and then you have
I don't think
Ned
Ashara's
Dane
bastard baby is getting anything.
Yeah, and I think, like, the Danes would be like, oh yeah, we'd love to just have her around the castle because she's family, but she's not going to be inheriting anything.
This laundry's not going to do itself, so yeah, bring her in.
But she would be another person that Darkstar needed to kill to become the heir, right?
No, she wouldn't. She's a bastard. She can't inherit.
No, she can inherit. Well, actually, no.
Why can't she?
She needs to be legitimized, sorry.
Yeah,
right.
But that would
she would need
happen.
To be legitimized. Yeah.
But that could also
I don't see Robert doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that kind of also brings up another kind of scary thing. What if she kind of looked like Lyanna and Robert saw her?
Oh.
That's...
That'd be awkward.
Well, Jon kind of looks like Lyanna and Robert saw him.
Oh,
Get
God.
a little drunker, see what happens.
Oh, no. No.
Luckily, he doesn't swing that way, or so we assume. So...
Oh, God.
So that horror nightmare would not have happened.
I think Oberyn and Robert would have got along.
Yeah, probably.
Had he not, like, been complicit with the death of his sister.
Yeah. I kind of want to have another one, if you guys are still
let's
up
do
for
it.
All right. This isn't really of a what if, but do you think Rhaegar would have been a good king? Because we always hear Barristan crowing about, oh, Rhaegar would have been such a better king than Robert. But would he? With his prophecy...
I think he would have been.
I think he would have been a better king than Robert, but I don't think that's a very high
that's not a
benchmark.
higher standard, yeah.
So what are you assuming? Are you assuming that he wins the rebellion and survives?
Either like the rebellion never happens, or he wins the rebellion. And
well,
like,
that's two very different things.
All right,
yeah.
All right, well, let's split it into two. What if the rebellion just never happens? Aerys dies. Aerys dies in his sleep after, like, Rhaella finally has enough and just puts a pillow over his head and pushes down.
Sounds just peaceful.
He dies peacefully in his sleep.
With a pillow on his face.
With a pillow. Well, he was wont to sleep with a pillow on his face to stop the voices in his head.
Sure.
Everyone knows this.
Right.
And Rhaegar ascends as Rhaegar the First Targaryen. What do you think, like, the state of the kingdoms would really have been?
And
I think it would have been better.
He doesn't kidnap Yara, right?
Well, we never know. Because he still has the ability to do that.
It kind of depends on when it happens. Because if he ascends to the throne before he, like, meets Lyanna and sees her, then he's preoccupied with other things. He needs to run around. He can't go around, like, thinking, I gotta be the princess promised, here we go.
I don't know, because that was
3 heads of the dragon, woohoo!
He molded his entire life to become or at least to prepare to be the guy who prepared for the prince who was promised. He was bookish when he was little, but then when he read the prophecy, he's like, well, I gotta be really good at weaponry too. So I think, like, him fulfilling the prophecy would supersede any king duties he might have had. He would have still done them if they just didn't interfere with the prophecy.
So wouldn't the rebellion then still have happened?
Possibly.
I guess if he finds...
I mean, you don't get Aerys burning alive Rickard and Brandon.
Right, he never would have done that.
Yeah, he would probably just have some sort of, like, made some sort of deal or appease them of some way.
Look, I just need to get your daughter pregnant. Don't worry about it.
Triggers.
Look,
She's
in the old days, polygamy was perfectly fine.
Hey, yeah, I can
Even
have
if
two
it
wives.
was with 2 sisters.
That's. I mean, he could within his rights, marry Lyanna as well.
Like,
And part of me thinks that they'd be okay with that. I mean,
Robert wouldn't have.
well, Robert doesn't
Would-
matter. I
Robert
mean,
would-
Rickard is like, oh, my daughter's going to marry a king instead of just a Stormlord?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, they were betrothed, so there would have been problems. But if he
Yeah.
hadn't killed killed Brandon, or
Rickard.
Rickard, then there wouldn't have been the war from the Starks.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you
think
still
so.
would have an angry Stormlands, which could probably be,
Yeah.
and an angry Dorne for that matter.
Why is
Because-
Dorne
No,
angry?
no.
Because
because
Elia is like Rhaegar is going. Elia's not enough for me. I need this one too.
But they knew that she was like not having another child.
I know, and
Sure,
Dorne's like,
but-
dude, what the fuck? You already have 2 kids. You want more? You prick. Love your wife.
He's like,
I don't.
yeah, don't
I
you
don't
know
think
how I
that's a big-
ascended this throne?
I don't think that's
Aegon
a
the Unworthy.
biggest problem.
Or,
So as
not
long
Aegon
as
the
she's
Unworthy.
still his wife, I think it's not a problem.
I don't know.
for them.
I think there's still some like sore feelings between Dorne.
Yeah, but not enough to go to war.
Not enough to go to war, I guess. And then you also have the sore feelings of the Westerlands, because Tywin's like, "Oh my god, you take a second wife, and it couldn't have been Cersei, you son of a bitch."
he's like, give it time.
Take a
Dragon
third
needs
wife.
3 wives.
3's the charm.
That problem can be
Do you
solved.
think he wants it? I mean, assuming that he's still mad at Aerys for having sex with his wife. I don't know.
When did Aerys have sex with his wife?
Well,
when
that's
I think
Tyrion-
he-
well, that's a theory.
9 months
That's a
before
theory.
Tyrion was born.
Oh my
Yeah, exactly.
God.
That's kind of a
Uh-huh.
theory. That Tyrion is
I
is
reject
one of them.
your theory. It is
Substitute
rejected.
it with my own. I mean, that's another theory. You have to make an assumption that's true. But if that's true, then Tywin would not want to marry in with Rhaegar. I think.
Alright. Well,
I
what
don't
if?
think so.
Alright. What if Rhaegar just ends up winning the rebellion? Robert
Hmm.
gets killed at the Ruby Ford instead of Rhaegar. What happens then?
Ned gets killed at the...
I don't
Gets
think.
killed by the Kingsguard.
I don't think Ned gets killed. I think he gets.
He gets
arrested.
killed by the Kingsguard.
No, he doesn't.
They don't back down. They don't bend their knee.
Yeah,
They
but
run
they
away.
don't like. They capture it. They don't like just go, "Oh, killing spree, no survivors."
That's exactly
plus-
what Arthur Dane does.
Oh my god.
Plus
When's
Rhaegar is already dead when he confronts the Kingsguard down there. So that's the
Oh,
the
first.
last
You mean at the Tower of Joy? Well,
Yeah.
Ned's at the Ruby Ford, so if there's a defeat at the Ruby Ford, Ned's getting captured there.
Wasn't it at the Ruby Ford? I didn't...
Ned was at the
Remember
Ruby
that.
Ford. He fought alongside, and then Robert was wounded, and then he's like, "Ned, I'm wounded. You need to go to King's Landing. I'll catch up."
So did Ned go find Lyanna after King's Landing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He went
because
even
he's like, I
at-
looked
he
for
went
you
even
and you
further
weren't there,
after
and I
that
looked for you
because he
and
went to
you weren't
King's Landing, and then he went to Storm's End to tell the Tyrells, "Hey, go home." And then he goes down to the Tower of Joy.
there. Man, if he'd only gone there first.
Yeah, if you only had gone there
been able
first,
to
things
talk to
might have
his
happened
sister.
differently. But what if?
would've-
Yeah, we
But
shouldn't
only
do
one,
that.
one at a time, gentlemen. One at a time. But yeah, so like maybe Ned gets sent to the wall or something because he's a traitor technically.
I don't think so. It depends on if Ares dies or not. Like if
Oh, true, because Ares is technically still alive. So then we have to ask ourselves,
because Ares wants them all dead,
yeah,
and the only
Yeah.
way he's going to be happy is if they're dead. But if Ares dies and Rhaegar is now like the king, I don't think he wants to kill them.
that's kind of what I
doesn't
was
want
going
to kill
for.
his wife's brother.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. If you
But-
want a happy marriage.
Even then, you still have a man who has risen against the crown. What do you do to punish him? Because, like, the Tyrells will be saying, "What the fuck? We stood up for you." And it turns out these guys aren't, like, having anything bad happen to them.
Firstborn son has a ward, whatever.
Yeah, maybe, like, Robb is forced to live at King's Landing as insurance.
Yeah. So I think that's it, because, I mean...
Robert
it's
has to
quite
take the black.
Oh, I said
Robert-
Robert dies. Cause,
Oh, he dies.
Robert
Yeah,
would have
'cause-
to
Yeah,
die.
because
Robert-
Robert's not going to stop.
and Rhaegar were first at the battle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, dumb way to lead there, boys, but okay.
Yeah.
Do you think just like everybody's like, oh, let these guys fight it out. We'll see how it goes.
I think that would like actually have like been beneficial. It's just like, hey, one-on-one combat, and like not very many people need to die here. I don't know.
Rhaegar's like, I don't know if I want to do this.
So how does Ares die? Does he die in the sleep as well, or is it?
Yeah,
or do we
let's
assume
just keep
that
going
some-
with Rhaella keeps having enough of this and death by pillow.
I can
Good
see
enough, good enough for me.
the like. Let's say Robert dies, Ned surrenders. I don't know, but then they overthrow Ares and Rhaegar takes the throne. Like they
Well,
have to
if
have
it's
something to appease the people that are up, like rising up against them.
So if it's
And
not, they're gonna forcefully kill Ares, or is
I,
because I thought we were just talking about like Ares just dies, like
which is
Rhaella.
Yeah, well, Ares-
Rhaella just kind of pillows him in the middle of the night, and by
Sounds dirty.
morning, everyone's like, "Oh no, he's dead. What a pity."
I guess it's all theories, but the theories that like Rhaegar was planning on overthrowing his father anyway.
I think that
Yeah.
those are true. Yeah.
So if that was the case, you know, maybe he's like, look, stop this war. I'll overthrow my father. You'll get your vengeance or whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I think that he might have non-violently overthrown his dad.
Because that's
His
the only way
dad.
to appease the Northerners. Because you just killed their lord and the heir.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much appease them, just because the main problem is afterwards that Robert's and Ned's life and of course the little what's his name? I can't remember now. The last brother, Stark brother,
Benjen?
Benjen. Yeah, sorry, Benjen.
Mm.
Benjen and Ned's life were in danger because Ares had threatened their lives.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted him to come in, right?
Yeah, and
Come
essentially
join me.
So
Things will
Yeah,
we'll
so-
have a hot time together.
We're just
so
going to
that's
chat
why-
like I did with your father.
Yeah.
that's essentially why Jon Arryn had to step in and help them,
Yeah.
because he doesn't want he had an obligation towards his ward to keep him safe.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So the only thing that happens, the really large problem, is that Ares would need to be taken out of power, at least,
Yeah.
because otherwise they would be killed as soon as they got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Ned, I surrender. I got to take you into my father. I'm sorry about what's going to happen. He's probably going to burn you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. So
I
Unless
retract my
Rhaegar-
surrender. I'd rather fight to the death.
Anyone else have one, or are we just gonna end there?
What if
That was a
Jon
good
Snow?
one.
No Jon Snows. We're done with Jon Snow.
Oh. Okay, bye. Nothing else to say then.
All
Screw
right.
this shit, yeah.
Do we even need an after show for this one, or because this is mostly just an entire after
Mostly
show?
just aftershow, yeah.
This is the podcast as an after show. All
Yeah,
right.
what?
Oh.
I like how it was unstructured. It was just like, let's all throw in ideas and then talk about them. It was nice.
Yeah. Well,
I think it worked quite well.
I like,
It's nice because you don't have to really do any homework.
and you don't.
I mean, it would have
have
been
to
nicer
write-
if we were all prepared.
Yeah, I was
to
about to
do
say, and you don't necessarily have to write anything down.
it. Was there a Google Doc for this? I didn't even look.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, pick what you want. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me do a little. Do I even need an outro? Thanks for listening to Vassals of Kingsgrave. This has been the most hobbled together podcast I think I've ever been on, and I'm proud of it. Don't know how to go from here.
Find us on
Remember to-
Facebook.
Find us on
do we have
all of the
Facebook,
social
WordPress,
medias. We got Facebook, we got
Instagram.
Tumblr, we got Grindr, we got the forums at a podcast. Just Google a Podcast of Ice and Fire. Just Google it. You have Google. Just do that.
We have WordPress as well.
And we have WordPress, Vassals of Kingsgrave. If you just Google that too, it's going to be the first one. Seriously, people, just use Google. It's the easiest. Who puts in the website anymore?
And if you find this on YouTube, if it makes its way onto YouTube, remember to comment and subscribe.
They haven't put
leave a like.
They haven't
Give
put
us a
the
5-star rating.
FCR on YouTube. I don't know if they're gonna be willing to put this up on YouTube.
I mean, I could put it up if I wanted to.
If you wanted to,
I don't know.
But you'd have to say some really nice things to Patrick first.
Yeah, it has to be an opening with me just being the best person ever, like edited together, being a genius. So every not good thing I said has to be edited out.
Okay.
You need to make a 10-minute intro saying
if I
this
do
podcast
this,
is dedicated to Patrick.
If the after show is just me praising you, will you put this up and the full castle recording on YouTube?